I want a divorce, Tabo shouted. The three-tier cake crashed to the marble floor. 100 guests went silent. She is barren. 4 years of marriage and not a single child. What kind of woman cannot do the one thing she was created to do?
Outside the glass doors, Park Min-ho had been watching. While everyone focused on the scandal, he moved through the crowd. "Who the hell are you?" Tabo's voice boomed through the speaker.
Get away from her.
Touch her again and I will bury you beneath this hotel.
Henkes watched and did absolutely nothing to help.
His hand wrapped around the man's throat before anyone could blink. 100 guests froze. Champagne glasses stopped mid-air. The string quartet went silent. Kang Min-ho pressed his thumb against the pulse point of the man who had just thrown wine in Liara's face. Red liquid dripped down her white chef's uniform. Her eyes were wide. Not from fear, from shock that a stranger in a black suit had crossed an entire ballroom to defend her. His voice was low, deadly. "Touch her again and I will bury you beneath this hotel. Welcome to Black Soul Romance TV series, Besties. Please like, share, and subscribe." 3 hours earlier, Liara had been excited. Nervous, but excited. She stood in the hotel kitchen checking her reflection in a stainless steel pot. Her braids were pulled back in a neat bun. Her chef's coat was pressed and clean. Her makeup was subtle but pretty. Today was supposed to be her big break. The Grand Summit Hotel had hired her company to cater the engagement party of Kim Soo-yeon, daughter of one of the wealthiest families in the city. 300 guests. A 5-tier cake that Liara had spent 47 hours perfecting. Every sugar flower had been crafted by her own hands. Every layer had been baked fresh that morning. This job could change everything. If the Kim family liked her work, she would finally have the credibility she needed to open her own bakery. Her assistant Kafilwi walked over with a tablet. The guest list just came in. "You might want to look at it." "Why?" Liara asked, still adjusting her collar. Kafilwi hesitated. "Just look." Liara took the tablet and scrolled through the names. Her stomach dropped when she reached the T section. Thabo Makona, +1. Her ex-fiancé. The man who had left her 14 months ago. The man who had told her she was too fat, too dark, too much of everything he did not want anymore. The man who had walked out 2 weeks before their wedding and never looked back. He was going to be here tonight. "I can handle it," Liara said. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking. "You do not have to," Kafilwi said. "I can manage the front. You stay in the kitchen." "No." Liara shook her head. "I am the head chef. The Kim family hired me specifically. I am not hiding from Thabo Makona. He does not get to take this from me too." She turned back to the kitchen and started barking orders. Her team moved faster. The appetizers were plated. The main courses were prepped. The cake was wheeled into position in the center of the ballroom. Everything was perfect. Liara stepped out of the kitchen at 7 to check the setup. The ballroom was stunning. Crystal chandeliers, white roses everywhere, the city skyline visible through floor-to-ceiling windows. And then she saw him. Thabo was standing near the bar with his arm around a thin woman in a red dress. She was laughing at something he said. Her hand rested on his chest like she owned him. Liara's heart cracked, but she refused to let it show. She lifted her chin and walked across the ballroom to inspect the dessert table. She was a professional. She would act like one. The next hour passed in a blur of work. Liara directed her staff through appetizers and the first course. She fixed a plating issue with the salads. She checked on the cake one more time. Everything was running smoothly. At 8:30, she stepped out of the kitchen to get some air. The back corridor was quiet. She leaned against the wall and closed her eyes. 2 minutes. She just needed 2 minutes. She heard footsteps approaching but did not open her eyes. Not until a familiar voice said, "Liara, is that really you?" Her eyes snapped open. Thabo was standing 3 feet away. His smile was the same one that had made her fall in love with him 5 years ago. Charming, easy, completely fake. "What are you doing here?" he asked, looking at her uniform. You work for the caterer? I am the caterer, Leora said flatly. My company was hired for this event. Thabo's eyebrows rose. Your company. You actually did it. Started your own business. I did. He laughed. That is amazing. Good for you. He looked her up and down in a way that made her skin crawl. You look good. Put on a little more weight, though. Liara felt the familiar sting of his words, the same sting she had felt every time he commented on her body during their relationship, the same sting that had made her starve herself for months trying to be what he wanted. But she was not that woman anymore. My weight is none of your concern, she said coldly. Now, if you will excuse me, I have work to do. She tried to walk past him, but he grabbed her arm. Come on, Lira. Do not be like that. We can still be friends. Let go of me. I miss you sometimes, you know. Thabo's voice dropped lower. Portia is beautiful, but she does not cook like you do. Nobody cooks like you do. Leora yanked her arm free. We are not friends. We will never be friends. You left me 2 weeks before our wedding for a woman half my size. You told me I was disgusting. You told me no one would ever want me. I was wrong, Thabo said. His eyes traveled over her curves again. You are not disgusting. You are just not the kind of woman a man marries. You are the kind of woman a man keeps on the side. The slap echoed through the corridor. Leora's palm stung from the impact. Thabo's head had snapped to the side. When he turned back to face her, his charm was gone. His eyes were cold and furious. You should not have done that, he said quietly. And you should learn to keep your hands and your opinions to yourself, Leora shot back. She turned and walked away. Her heart was pounding. Her hands were shaking, but she held her head high. She did not see Thabo reach for his wine glass. She did not see him follow her. She did not know he was right behind her until she stepped into the ballroom and felt cold liquid splash across her back. She spun around. Thabo stood there with an empty wine glass and a cruel smile. The ballroom had gone quiet. 100 guests were staring. Phones were already out, recording. Oops, Thabo said loudly. My hand slipped. Leora's white chef's uniform was now stained deep red. Wine dripped down her face and into her eyes. She could feel it soaking through to her skin. Humiliation burned through her entire body. This is the woman who was supposed to marry me, Thabo announced to the room. Can you imagine? He laughed. I would have been stuck with this for the rest of my life. Thank God I came to my senses. Leora could not move, could not speak. Her legs felt frozen to the marble floor. And then everything happened at once. A man in a black suit crossed the ballroom so fast that Leora barely registered the movement. 1 second Thabo was laughing. The next second he was pinned against the wall with a hand around his throat. The man was tall, broad shoulders, dark hair pushed back from a face that looked like it had been carved from stone. His eyes were black and absolutely murderous. Touch her again and I will bury you beneath this hotel. His voice was quiet, controlled. Somehow that made it more terrifying than if he had screamed. Thabo's face was turning red. His feet were barely touching the ground. Who the hell are you? Thabo choked out. The man did not answer. He just squeezed harder. Let him go. The voice came from somewhere behind Leora. She turned to see an older Korean man in an expensive suit walking toward them. His expression was calm but concerned. Min-ho, the older man said, this is a business event. Let him go. The man with his hand around Thabo's throat did not move for a long moment. His jaw was tight. His eyes were still fixed on Thabo with pure hatred. Then slowly, deliberately, he released his grip. Thabo dropped to the ground, gasping for air. The stranger looked down at him. Get out, now, before I change my mind. Thabo scrambled to his feet and practically ran from the ballroom. His girlfriend Portia followed him, her heels clicking frantically against the marble. The room was completely silent. Liara stood there dripping wine and shaking and trying to understand what had just happened. The stranger turned to face her. Up close, he was even more intimidating. Sharp features, a scar that ran through his left eyebrow, eyes that seemed to see straight through her. But when he spoke to her, his voice was different, softer. "Are you hurt?" Liara shook her head. She could not find words. The stranger shrugged off his suit jacket and draped it over her shoulders. The fabric was warm and smelled like cedar and something darker, something expensive. "Come with me," he said. "You need to clean up." "I have a job," Liara finally managed. "The cake, the service. I cannot leave. Your team can handle it." He glanced toward the kitchen doors where Kafilwi was already watching with wide eyes. He gave her a small nod. She nodded back. How did he know Kafilwi was her second in command? How did he know anything about her operation? Liara opened her mouth to protest, but the stranger was already walking toward a side door. He glanced back at her. "Are you coming?" There was something in his voice. Not a command exactly, more like an expectation. Like he already knew she would follow him. And against every instinct that told her to stay away from this dangerous man, Liara found herself walking after him. If you are still watching, I need you to hit that like button right now. This story is about to take a turn that nobody saw coming. And if you have not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? You do not want to miss what happens next. The stranger led her down a private corridor to a suite on the top floor. He did not speak in the elevator, did not explain who he was or why he had helped her. Just stood there with his hands in his pockets and his eyes fixed on the numbers climbing higher. Liara should have been afraid. She was alone in an elevator with a man who had just nearly choked someone to death, a man whose name she did not even know. But she was not afraid. She was curious. The doors opened onto a private penthouse suite, floor-to-ceiling windows, modern furniture. Art on the walls that probably cost more than her entire Busan SS. "Bathroom is through there," the stranger said, pointing to a door on the left. "There are robes in the closet. I will have your uniform cleaned." Liara looked down at herself. The wine had soaked through completely. She looked like she had been stabbed. "Thank you," she said quietly. The stranger nodded. "Do you want something to drink? Water? Something stronger? Water is fine." He walked to the kitchen while Liara headed for the bathroom. She closed the door behind her and leaned against it, finally letting out the breath she had been holding. What was happening? An hour ago she had been running a catering service. Now she was in a stranger's penthouse taking off her ruined uniform. She turned on the shower and stepped under the hot water. The wine swirled down the drain in red rivers. She stood there until the water ran clear. When she finally emerged wrapped in a white robe, she found her uniform gone and a fresh set of clothes laid out on the bed. A simple black dress. Designer from the look of it. Her exact size. How did he know her size? She put on the dress because she did not have another option. It fit perfectly, hugged her curves in a way that made her feel beautiful instead of embarrassed. She looked at herself in the mirror. Not bad for a woman who had just been publicly humiliated. She walked out to the living room where the stranger was sitting on the couch with 2 glasses of water on the coffee table. "It fits," he observed. "How did you know my size?" Liara asked. "I have a good eye. Who are you?" The stranger stood up. "My name is Kang Min-ho." The name meant nothing to her. Should it? Min-ho seemed to read her confusion. "You are not from here originally, are you?" "I am from South Africa," Liara said. "Johannesburg. I moved here 3 years ago. That explains it." Min-ho walked to the window and looked out at the city. "If you had grown up here, you would know who I am. You would have run the moment you saw me cross that ballroom. Should I be running now?" Min-ho turned to face her. His expression was unreadable. "No. You are safe with me." Liara did not know why, but she believed him. "Why did you help me?" she asked. "You do not know me. You had no reason to get involved." I had every reason. Minho's voice was hard. That man put his hands on you. He humiliated you in front of a room full of people who did nothing but watch. Someone needed to do something. So you nearly killed him. I showed restraint. Minho said it like restraint was an unusual choice for him, like his first instinct had been much worse. Leora sat down on one of the chairs. Her legs were suddenly weak. "Thank you," she said. "I know I said it before, but I mean it. Thank you for helping me." Minho nodded. He walked over and sat across from her. The coffee table was between them, but somehow the room still felt small. "Tell me about him," Minho said. "The man with the wine." Leora was surprised by the question. "Why do you want to know?" "Because I want to understand what happened. Because I want to know if he is going to be a problem." "A problem?" Leora almost laughed. "Thabo is a coward. He will not do anything now that he knows you are involved. You would be surprised what cowards do when they feel humiliated." Minho leaned forward. "Tell me." So Leora told him. About the 5-year relationship. About the engagement. About the Aebo's constant criticism of her body. About the day he left for another woman. About the 14 months she had spent rebuilding herself from nothing. Minho listened without interrupting. His expression did not change, but something in his eyes shifted. Something that looked almost like anger on her behalf. When she finished, he was quiet for a long moment. "You are stronger than you know," he said finally. "I do not feel strong," Leora admitted. "I feel like I just got publicly destroyed in front of 100 people, and half of them are probably posting videos right now." "Let them post," Minho said firmly. "You did nothing wrong. He is the one who threw wine at a woman. He is the one who will look like a monster." "I doubt it," Leora said bitterly. "These things always play out the same way. The woman becomes the villain somehow. Not this time." Minho pulled out his phone and typed something quickly. "I have people who handle these situations." "What does that mean?" "It means by morning, every video of tonight will show him as the aggressor and you as the victim. It means his name will be associated with assault and cowardice. It means he will never work in this city again." Leora stared at him. "You can do that?" "I can do a lot of things." She believed him. There was something about the way he said it. Complete certainty, like he had never questioned his own power. "Why?" she asked. "Why are you helping me this much? You could have stopped at the ballroom. You did not have to bring me here. You did not have to give me clothes. You definitely do not have to destroy his reputation." Minho looked at her for a long moment. His eyes were dark and unreadable. "I do not know," he admitted. "I saw what he did to you and something inside me snapped. I have watched a lot of people suffer and done nothing. But watching you stand there with wine dripping down your face, refusing to cry, refusing to give him the satisfaction, something about that made me want to burn the world down for you." Leora did not know what to say. No one had ever spoken to her like that. Like she mattered, like protecting her was not a burden but an instinct. "You do not even know me," she said quietly. "I know enough." They sat in silence for a moment. The city glowed through the windows. The sound of distant traffic drifted up from below. "What happens now?" Leora asked. "Now you rest." Minho stood up. "It is late and you have had a difficult night. The guest room is yours. Tomorrow I will have my driver take you wherever you need to go. I should go back to the ballroom. My team is still working." Minho shook his head. "I already spoke with your assistant. She said to tell you everything is under control. The cake was a success. The Kim family was very pleased despite the scene." Leora felt tears prick her eyes. She had been so worried that tonight's disaster would ruin her business. To hear that it had not felt like a weight lifted from her chest. "Thank you," she said again, "for all of it." Minho nodded. "Get some sleep. We can talk more in the morning." He turned and walked toward the master bedroom. Leora watched him go. At the door he paused and looked back at her. "Leo," yes, you are not too much of anything. Minho's voice was quiet but firm, and anyone who made you feel that way was wrong. Then he was gone, closing the door softly behind him. Liara sat there for a long time, processing everything that had happened. The humiliation, the rescue, the strange, dangerous man who looked at her like she was worth protecting. She did not know who Kang Minho was. She did not know why he had helped her. She did not know what tomorrow would bring. But for the first time in 14 months, she felt something that almost resembled hope. She went to the guest room and lay down on the softest bed she had ever felt. Sleep came faster than she expected. She did not dream of Thabo. She dreamed of dark eyes and a voice that promised to burn the world down for her. The next morning, Liara woke to the smell of coffee. She lay there for a moment, disoriented. The ceiling was unfamiliar. The sheets were too soft. The pillow smelled like lavender. Then everything came rushing back. The wine, the humiliation, Kang Minho's hand around Thabo's throat. She sat up quickly and looked around the guest room. Her phone was on the nightstand, plugged into a charger that had not been there last night. Her uniform from the previous evening was nowhere to be seen. She picked up her phone and checked the time. 9 in the morning. She had slept for almost 10 hours. There were 47 missed calls. Liara scrolled through them. Kafilwi had called 12 times. Her landlord had called twice. An unknown number had called 33 times. She checked her messages. Kafilwi's first text said, "Where are you? Call me immediately." The second text said, "Never mind. A very scary-looking man just told me you are safe. Please confirm that you are safe." The third text said, "Okay, the scary man's friend just paid us double our fee. What is happening?" Liara typed back quickly, "I am safe. Long story. We'll call you soon." She put down her phone and took a deep breath. Time to face whatever today was going to bring. She found the bathroom and washed her face. Her braids were a little messy from sleeping, but otherwise she looked okay. The black dress from last night was still lying across the chair. She put it back on because she had nothing else. She walked out of the guest room and down the hallway toward the living room. Minho was standing at the kitchen counter making breakfast. He was wearing dark pants and a white t-shirt. His hair was damp from a shower. He looked younger than he had last night, softer somehow, until he turned around and Liara saw his eyes. Still sharp, still dangerous. "Good morning," he said. "How do you take your coffee?" "Strong," Liara said automatically. "No sugar." Minho poured her a cup and slid it across the counter. His fingers brushed hers as she took it. A small touch, barely noticeable, but it sent electricity shooting up her arm. "Sit," Minho said, gesturing to the breakfast bar. "You need to eat." Liara sat down because she did not know what else to do. Minho placed a plate in front of her. Scrambled eggs, toast, fresh fruit, perfectly cooked. "You made breakfast," Liara said, surprised. "I do know how to cook. I just did not expect it." Minho shrugged. "I learned out of necessity. There were years when I could not trust anyone to prepare my food." The statement hung in the air, heavy with implications. Liara picked up her fork and took a bite of eggs. They were delicious, perfectly seasoned. "You are not going to ask," Minho observed. "Ask what?" "Why I could not trust people to prepare my food. Why I know how to nearly kill a man in under 3 seconds. Why I have people who can make embarrassing videos disappear overnight." Liara chewed slowly. "Would you tell me if I asked?" "Probably not. Then there is no point in asking." Minho almost smiled, almost. The corner of his mouth twitched, but he caught it before it became real. "Most people ask anyway," he said. "They cannot help themselves. I am not most people. I am beginning to see that." They ate in comfortable silence for a few minutes. The coffee was excellent. The food was perfect. The morning light through the windows made everything feel strangely normal, as if she had not spent the night in a stranger's penthouse, as if that stranger was not clearly some kind of dangerous person. as if her entire life had not just been turned upside down. "My driver will take you home whenever you are ready," Minho said. "Your uniform has been cleaned and pressed. Your assistant sent over a change of clothes as well." How did my assistant know where I was? Minho did not answer that question directly. "Your business will not suffer because of last night. The Kim family has already recommended you to 3 other families planning events. You should be getting calls by the end of the week." Leora put down her fork. "What did you do?" "I made some calls." "Why?" "Because you deserve success, and because that man tried to take it from you. You keep doing things for me," Leora said slowly. "You keep helping me, and you do not ask for anything in return. Nobody does that." "I do." "Why?" Minho looked at her, really looked at her. His eyes traced her face like he was trying to memorize it. "I do not know," he admitted, "but I cannot stop." Something shifted in the air between them, something heavy and electric. "Listen, before we go any further, I need you to do something for me. If you are enjoying this story, hit that subscribe button right now. I promise you have not seen anything yet. The twists are coming and you do not want to miss them. Now let us get back to the story." Leora finished her breakfast and went to change into the clothes Kafilwi had sent over. Simple jeans and a sweater, her favorite boots. When she came back out, Minho was on the phone. He was speaking in Korean. His voice was sharp and commanding. Leora waited by the door. Minho ended the call and slipped his phone into his pocket. "Ready?" "I think so." They took the private elevator down to the garage. A black car was waiting with a driver standing by the open door. "This is Jin," Minho said. "He will take you wherever you need to go." "Thank you," Leora said, "for everything." She started to get into the car, but Minho's voice stopped her. "Leora." She turned back. He was standing there with his hands in his pockets, looking at her in that intense way of his. "This does not have to be goodbye," he said. "What do you mean?" "I mean I would like to see you again, if you want." Leora did not know how to respond. A part of her knew this was dangerous. She did not know who this man was. She did not know what world she would be stepping into. But another part of her, a bigger part, wanted to find out. "I would like that," she said. Minho nodded. "I will find you." Something about the way he said it made her shiver. Not with fear, with anticipation. She got in the car and Jin closed the door behind her. As they pulled out of the garage, Leora looked back at the building. Minho was still standing there, watching the car leave. He did not look away until they turned the corner and disappeared from sight. Jin drove her to her apartment in a quiet neighborhood on the other side of the city. It was a small place, 1 bedroom above a laundromat, but it was hers. "Thank you," Leora said as she got out. Jin handed her a card. "Mr. Kang asked me to give you this." Leora looked at the card. It was simple black with a phone number in silver. No name, no explanation, just a number. She tucked it into her pocket and walked up the stairs to her apartment. Inside, everything was exactly as she had left it. Dishes in the sink, a blanket on the couch, her cat Felix weaving between her legs as soon as she opened the door. Home. She picked up Felix and buried her face in his fur. He purred loudly. "What am I doing?" she whispered to him. "What am I getting myself into?" Felix did not answer. He just purred. Leora sat down on the couch and stared at the card in her hand. She should throw it away. She should forget about Kang Minho and his penthouse and his dangerous eyes. She should focus on her business, on building her life, on moving forward. But she did not throw it away. She put it in her wallet next to the picture of her grandmother, the picture she kept for luck. And she waited to see if he would really find her. He found her the next day. Leora was in her commercial kitchen, elbow deep in fondant, when the front door opened. "We are not open yet," she called out without looking up. "I am not a customer." She spun around. Minho was standing in the doorway of her kitchen. He was wearing a perfectly tailored black suit. His hair was styled back from his face. He looked like he had just stepped off the cover of a magazine, or out of a movie about criminals. "How did you find me?" Leora asked. "I told you I would," I meant specifically. "How did you know where my kitchen was?" Minho walked further into the room, looking around at the mixing bowls and ovens and cooling racks filled with pastries. "I know a lot of things," he said simply. "That is not an answer. It is the only answer you are getting." He stopped in front of a tray of macarons and studied them carefully. "These are beautiful," he said. "Did you make them?" "Yes. The ones from the engagement party were yours too," Leora nodded. "The cake and all the pastries. You are talented." "Thank you." Minho looked at her. That was not a compliment. It was an observation. "I do not give compliments." "What is the difference?" "Compliments are things people say to make others feel good. Observations are facts. You are talented." "That is a fact." Leora did not know whether to be flattered or confused. "Why are you here?" she asked. "I want to hire you." "Hire me?" "I have a business event next month, a major one. I need a caterer I can trust." "You do not know me," Leora said. "You do not know if you can trust me." "I know enough." Minho held her gaze. "I know you showed up to an event where your ex-fiancé was present. I know you kept working even when he humiliated you. I know you did not break down until you thought no one was watching. I know you slept in a stranger's penthouse because you had no other choice, and you still had the courage to look me in the eye this morning." Leora felt heat rise to her cheeks. "You were watching me more closely than I thought." "I watch everything closely." There was something in the way he said it, something that made her pulse quicken. "What kind of business event?" she asked, trying to stay professional. "A celebration," Minho said carefully. "For associates." "Associates?" "Yes." "What kind of associates?" "The kind who appreciate discretion." Leora crossed her arms. "You are being deliberately vague. I am being deliberately careful." Minho stepped closer. "There are things about my life that are complicated, dangerous, things I cannot share with someone I have known for less than 48 hours. Then why do you want to hire me? Because your food is excellent, because you are professional even under pressure, and because I want to see you again." The last part hung in the air between them. "You could just ask me to dinner," Leora said. "I could." Minho tilted his head. "But you would say no. You are smart. You know I am dangerous. You know you should stay away from me. So instead, you are creating a business reason for us to interact." "Exactly." Leora wanted to be offended. She wanted to tell him that she did not appreciate being manipulated, but she also appreciated the honesty. He was not pretending this was only about business. He was admitting that he wanted to see her and was finding ways to make it happen. There was something almost endearing about it. "Fine," she said. "I will cater your event." Minho's expression did not change, but something in his posture relaxed. "Good. I will need details. Guest count, venue, budget, dietary restrictions. My assistant will send you everything." Minho pulled out his phone and typed something quickly. "You should have an email within the hour, and we need to meet to discuss the menu." "I was hoping you would say that." Minho looked up from his phone. "Dinner tonight, 8 o'clock. I will pick you up." "That was not what I meant. I know, but I am asking anyway." Leora shouldn't say no. She knew she shouldn't say no. Every logical part of her brain was screaming at her to stay away from this man, but she did not say no. "Fine," she said, "but you are paying." "I always pay." Minho almost smiled again. "Almost. I will see you tonight." He turned and walked out of her kitchen as suddenly as he had arrived. Leora stood there for a long moment, staring at the door. "What are you doing?" she whispered to herself. She did not have an answer. Later that night, Leora stood in front of her closet trying to figure out what to wear to dinner with a dangerous man who had just hired her for a mysterious business event. Nothing seemed right. Her phone buzzed. A text from Kafilwi, Heard about your mystery man. Spill everything. Liara typed back, nothing to spill. It is a business meeting. Sure it is. That is why you texted me asking what to wear. You are not helping. Wear the green dress. The one that makes your hips look amazing. This is a business meeting. Liara, I saw the video. I saw the way that man looked at you when he was choking your ex. That was not a business look. That was an I will burn down the world for you look. Liara put down her phone without responding. She put on the green dress anyway. At exactly 8 o'clock, there was a knock on her door. Liara opened it to find Minho standing there in another perfect suit. This one was navy blue. His hair was slightly different, pushed to the side instead of back. He looked incredible. His eyes traveled over her slowly, taking in the green dress, the way it hugged her curves, the way it made her skin glow. You look beautiful, he said. I thought you did not give compliments. I said I do not give compliments. I make observations. You look beautiful. That is an observation. Liara felt her cheeks warm. Thank you. Minho offered his arm. Shall we? She took it. The restaurant he took her to was small and exclusive. The kind of place with no sign outside and a waiting list months long. But the hostess took one look at Minho and immediately led them to a private table in the back. Come here often? Liara asked as they sat down. I own it, Minho said simply. Of course you do. The waiter appeared immediately with menus. Minho waved them away. We will have the chef's tasting menu, he said, and a bottle of the 2015 reserve. The waiter bowed and disappeared. I hope you do not have dietary restrictions I do not know about, Minho said. I am a chef. I eat everything. Good. The food arrived in waves, delicate appetizers, rich soups, perfectly cooked proteins. Each dish was better than the last. They talked while they ate, about food, about business, about the catering industry and how Liara had built her company from nothing. You started with nothing? Minho asked. Less than nothing, Liara said. I had $200 when I moved here. I worked 3 jobs for 2 years to save enough to rent a commercial kitchen. Why here? Why not stay in South Africa? I needed to start over, Liara said. There was nothing left for me there. Your family? My grandmother raised me. She passed away 5 years ago. After that, there was no reason to stay. Minho was quiet for a moment. I understand that. The need to start over. To build something new from the ashes of the old. You speak from experience. I do. Are you going to tell me about it? Minho looked at her. His eyes were dark and unreadable. Not yet, he said. But eventually, yes. If you stay. If I stay. In my life. In my orbit. If you choose to keep seeing me after tonight. Why would not I? Because when you learn who I really am, you might decide the danger is not worth it. Liara held his gaze. What if I decide you are worth it? Something shifted in Minho's expression. Something that looked almost like hope. Then I would be very lucky, he said quietly. They finished dinner and Minho drove her home. He walked her to her door. Thank you for tonight, Liara said. The food was incredible. Thank you for coming, Minho said. I know you had reservations. I still do. I know. He stepped closer. Close enough that Liara could smell his cologne, something dark and expensive. I want to kiss you, he said, but I will not. Not until you know everything. Not until you can make an informed choice. That is very gentlemanly. I am not a gentleman, Minho said. I am a man who wants you. But I also want you to want me for exactly who I am. No illusions. No surprises. When will you tell me? Liara asked. Who you really are. Soon. Minho reached out and tucked a braid behind her ear. Very soon. Then he stepped back. Good night, Liara. Good night, Minho. She watched him walk to his car and drive away. Then she went inside and lay on her bed and tried to stop her heart from racing. She failed. Okay, I need to stop right here and ask you something. Are you subscribed to this channel? If you are not, you need to fix that immediately. This story is just getting started, and the best parts are coming. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you do not miss a single episode. Now, let us continue. The next 2 weeks passed in a blur. Liara threw herself into planning Minho's event. She had received the details from his assistant as promised. 200 guests, a private estate outside the city, an unlimited budget. The guest list was interesting. Corporate executives, government officials, names she recognized from newspapers, names she did not recognize at all. She did not ask questions. She designed a menu that was elegant and impressive. Dishes that would photograph well but also taste incredible. A 5-tier cake that would be the centerpiece of the dessert table. Minho approved everything without changes. You trust my judgment? Liara asked during one of their planning meetings. Completely, Minho said. You have not even tasted the dishes yet. I have tasted your work. The macarons in your kitchen. The cake from the engagement party. You are a master of your craft. Liara felt warmth spread through her chest. Coming from him, it meant something. They saw each other almost every day. Sometimes for planning meetings. Sometimes for dinner. Sometimes just for walks through the park near her apartment. Minho was careful with her. Kept his distance physically. Never pushed for more than she was ready to give. But his eyes followed her constantly. His attention was always focused entirely on her. His questions were thoughtful and probing. He wanted to know everything about her, and slowly, piece by piece, she started to tell him. About her grandmother, about growing up in Johannesburg, about the years of working 3 jobs to save enough money, about Thabo and the damage he had done, about the 14 months of rebuilding herself. Minho listened to all of it. And then one night he started to tell her his story. They were sitting on the roof of his building. The city spread out below them like a sea of lights. My father was Kang Sung-ho, Minho said quietly. He built one of the largest criminal organizations in this country. Liara's breath caught. I inherited it when he died. Minho continued. I have spent the last 10 years expanding it, legitimizing parts of it. Making it into something more than just crime. You are a crime boss, yes. Liara sat with that for a moment. The Mafia. We prefer the term organization. Same thing. Minho nodded slowly. Yes, same thing. Liara looked at him. His profile was sharp against the city lights. He looked beautiful and dangerous and absolutely terrifying. Why are you telling me this? Because I told you I would. Because I do not want there to be secrets between us. Because I want you to know exactly who I am before you decide whether to keep seeing me. And what happens if I decide to walk away? Then I let you go. Minho's voice was quiet but firm. I will be disappointed. I will probably be destroyed. But I will let you go. Would you, though? Minho turned to look at her. His eyes were serious. Yes, I would. Because I do not want you unless you want me. All of me. The good and the bad and the dangerous. Liara was quiet for a long time. She thought about running, about going back to her small apartment and her safe life, and pretending none of this had ever happened. But she also thought about how she felt when she was with him. Zayn. Protected. Valued. Like she mattered. I need time, she said finally. To think about this. Take all the time you need, Minho said. But I am not walking away, Liara clarified. Not yet. I just need to process. Minho nodded. I understand. They sat in silence for a while longer. The city hummed below them. The stars were barely visible through the light pollution. Thank you for telling me, Liara said eventually. For being honest. Thank you for listening. Minho replied, for not running immediately. I almost did, but you did not. No. Liara looked at him. I did not. Something passed between them, an understanding, a connection that went deeper than words. When Minho drove her home that night, he walked her to her door as usual. Good night, Liara, Good night, Minho. She started to go inside, but stopped. Minho. Yes. She turned back to face him. I am not running, she said. I am staying. Whatever this is, I am staying. Minho's expression did not change, but his eyes softened. Are you sure? No, Leora admitted, but I am choosing it anyway. Minho stepped closer, slowly, giving her time to move away if she wanted. She did not move. He raised his hand and cupped her face gently. His thumb traced her cheekbone. You are extraordinary, he said quietly, and I do not deserve you, but I am selfish enough to keep you anyway. Then keep me. Minho kissed her. It was soft at first, questioning, asking permission. Leora answered by pulling him closer. The kiss deepened. His hands slid to her waist. Her fingers tangled in his hair. The world narrowed to just the two of them standing in her doorway. When they finally pulled apart, they were both breathing hard. Good night, Leora said again. Good night, Minho replied. She went inside and closed the door, leaned against it, pressed her fingers to her lips. She could still taste him. If you have made it this far, you are already invested in Leora and Minho's story. But trust me, you have not seen anything yet. The danger is coming. The jealousy is coming. Everything you want is coming. Make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on. Drop a comment telling me what you think is going to happen next. I read every single one. Now get ready, because things are about to get intense. The week before Minho's event was chaos. Leora worked 18-hour days. She tested recipes. She trained her staff. She triple-checked every detail. Nothing could go wrong. Not with 200 guests. Not with the kind of people Minho associated with. Not when she was trying to prove she belonged in his world. Kafilwi noticed the change in her. You are different, Kafilwi said one afternoon while they were decorating petit fours. Lighter, à pied. It is because of him, is it not? Leora did not answer. She did not have to. Be careful, Kafilwi said quietly. Men like that, they burn bright, but they also burn everything around them. I know. Do you? Leora looked at her friend. Yes, I know exactly what I am getting into, but she was not sure that was true. Minho called her every night, sometimes just to talk, sometimes to ask about the event, sometimes just to hear her voice. I miss you, he said one night. You saw me 6 hours ago. That is 6 hours too long. Leora laughed. You are ridiculous. Only for you. She fell asleep that night with her phone pressed to her ear, listening to him breathe. The night of the event arrived. Leora and her team set up at the private estate hours early. The venue was stunning. A sprawling mansion surrounded by manicured gardens, crystal chandeliers in every room, art that probably cost more than her entire business. She was putting the finishing touches on the dessert table when she felt someone watching her. She turned around. A woman stood in the doorway, tall, elegant, Korean. Her black dress probably cost more than Leora's car. Her hair was swept up in a perfect chignon. Her eyes were cold. So you are the caterer, the woman said in accented English. Yes, Leora straightened. Can I help you? The woman walked closer. Her heels clicked against the marble floor. My name is Yoon Hana. I am Minho's business partner. Something about the way she said business partner made Leora's stomach tighten. It is nice to meet you, Leora said carefully. Hana looked her up and down, taking in the chef's uniform, the braids, the curves. You are not what I expected, Hana said. What did you expect? Someone more his type. The words stung, but Leora kept her expression neutral. I was not aware Minho had a type. All men have types. Hana stepped closer. Minho's type has always been women who understand his world. Women who come from families like his. Women who know the rules. And you think I do not know the rules? I think you are a caterer from South Africa who got lucky. Hana's smile was sharp, but luck runs out. And when it does, Minho will remember where he comes from, and who belongs by his side. She turned and walked away before Leora could respond. Leora stood there for a long moment, her heart pounding. Who was that woman? What was she to Minho? Boss, Kafilwi appeared at her elbow. Everything okay? Fine. Leora forced a smile. Just pre-event jitters. But it was not fine. Hana's words had planted seeds of doubt, seeds that were already starting to grow. The event began at 8. Leora watched from the kitchen as guests arrived. Men in expensive suits, women in designer gowns. Everyone looked powerful, important, dangerous. She spotted Minho immediately. He was standing near the entrance, greeting guests with the ease of someone born to this life. He smiled and shook hands and said all the right things, and Hana was right beside him. She stood close, too close. Her hand rested on his arm like she belonged there. She laughed at something he said and leaned in to whisper in his ear. Minho did not push her away. Leora felt something twist in her chest, something ugly and painful, jealousy. She had no right to feel jealous. She and Minho had shared one kiss. They had not defined what they were to each other. They had not made any promises. But watching Hana touch him made Leora want to throw something. She forced herself to look away, to focus on the job she was there to do. The appetizers went out. The guests loved them. The main courses went out. Flawless. The desserts went out. People were taking pictures. Everything was perfect, but Leora could not enjoy it. Every time she looked into the ballroom, she saw Hana, touching Min-ho, standing too close, acting like she owned him. Around 10, Leora stepped outside for some air. The garden was quiet, beautiful, lit by fairy lights strung through the trees. She took a deep breath and tried to calm down. There you are. She turned around. Minho was walking toward her. He had loosened his tie. His hair was slightly disheveled. He looked tired but happy. I have been looking for you, he said. Everyone is raving about the food. That is good to hear. Minho frowned. Something is wrong. Nothing is wrong. Leora. He stepped closer. His eyes searched her face. Tell me. She should not say anything. It was not her place. They were not even together. Not really. But the words came out anyway. Who is Hana? Minho went very still. She told you her name. She introduced herself. Said she was your business partner. Leora could not keep the bitterness out of her voice. She seemed very comfortable with you. Hana and I have known each other since childhood, Minho said carefully. Our fathers were associates. There was an expectation that we would marry someday. An expectation. From our families, not from us. Minho reached for her hand. That expectation died years ago. Hana knows that. I know that. She does not act like she knows that. Minho sighed. Hana has trouble accepting things she does not want to hear. She touched you. All night. She stood next to you like she was your wife. Minho's expression shifted. Something dark flickered in his eyes. You were watching. Of course I was watching. And you were jealous. Leora wanted to deny it, but she could not lie to him. Yes, I was jealous. Minho pulled her closer. His hands settled on her waist, his forehead pressed against hers. There is no one but you, he said quietly. I do not want Hana. I have never wanted Hana. The only woman I want is standing right in front of me. Then why did you let her touch you? Because I was working. Because pushing her away in front of 200 people would create problems. Because this world has rules that I have to follow, even when I do not want to. Rules. Leora pulled back slightly. Hana mentioned rules. She said I do not know them. You do not, Minho admitted. But I can teach you, if you want to learn. What if I do not want to follow rules that let other women touch you? Then I change the rules. You can do that? I can do anything. Minho's voice was firm. For you, I can do anything. He kissed her. right there in the garden with fairy lights overhead and the sound of the party drifting through the open doors. This kiss was different from the first one. This one was possessive, claiming, a promise and a warning all at once. When they pulled apart, Leora was breathless. "Come back inside with me," Minho said. "Stand beside me. Let everyone see that you are mine. Will not that cause problems?" "Probably." Minho smiled. "You do not care." He took her hand and led her back into the ballroom. Heads turned when they entered together. Whispers started immediately, but Minho did not seem to notice. He kept Leora's hand firmly in his as he moved through the crowd. Hana saw them first. Her expression went from surprise to furious in the space of a heartbeat. "Minho," she said, stepping into their path. "Can I speak with you privately?" "No." The word was flat. Final. Hana's eyes flicked to Leora, to their joined hands. "I see," Hana said. Her voice was ice. "You have made your choice. I have. Your father would be disappointed. My father is dead." Minho's voice was cold. His opinions no longer matter. Hana looked at Leora with pure hatred. "Enjoy it while it lasts," she said quietly. "Women like you never survive in our world." Then she turned and walked away. Leora's heart was pounding. "Are you sure that was a good idea?" "Probably not." Minho said, "But I am tired of pretending. I want everyone to know you are with me." They spent the rest of the evening side by side. Minho introduced her to people, important people. He spoke about her business with pride. He touched the small of her back constantly, a small possessive gesture that made her feel claimed. When the event finally ended and the last guest left, Leora's team cleaned up while she stood with Minho on the balcony overlooking the gardens. "Tonight was a success," Minho said. "I hope so." It was. He turned to face her. "Because of you. I just made food. You made more than food. You made a statement. You stood beside me. You showed everyone that you are not afraid." "I am afraid," Leora admitted. "Hana is right. I do not know the rules. I do not know this world. I do not know if I can survive it." "You can." Minho cupped her face in his hands. "Because you are not alone. You have me. And I will protect you from anything, anyone, even Anna, especially Hana." They went back to his penthouse that night, not to sleep together, just to be together. They lay on the couch with Leora's head on his chest and talked until the sun came up. "Tell me about your grandmother," Minho said. So Leora told him. About the woman who had raised her when her parents could not. About the small house in Johannesburg. About learning to cook at her grandmother's side. About the day her grandmother died and Leora realized she had no one left. "She sounds incredible," Minho said when she finished. "She was," Leora whispered. "She would have liked you. Would she?" "Yes. She always said I needed someone who would fight for me. Someone who would not let me settle for less than I deserved. I will never let you settle," Minho promised. They fell asleep as the sun rose, tangled together on the couch, peaceful. "Before we continue, I need to ask you something important. Have you subscribed yet? If you are watching this far, you clearly love this story. But we are just getting to the dangerous part. Things are about to happen that will make you gasp. You do not want to miss it. Hit subscribe right now and turn on notifications. Okay, let us get back to the story. The next few weeks were the happiest of Leora's life. She and Minho saw each other every day. Sometimes he came to her kitchen and watched her work. Sometimes she went to his office and sat quietly while he took meetings. Sometimes they just walked through the city together, hand in hand, like normal people. They were not normal people. Leora knew that, but she pretended anyway. Kayamaka called her one afternoon. Wait, that was the wrong name. Her friend from the kitchen, Kefilwe. Kefilwe called her one afternoon. "You are glowing," Kefilwe said. "It is disgusting." Leora laughed. "I am happy. I can see that. Just be careful, okay? Men like that come with complications. I know, but she did not really know. Not yet. The complications started 3 weeks after the event. Liara was walking home from her kitchen when she noticed a car following her. A black sedan with tinted windows. It stayed half a block behind her, matching her pace exactly. Her heart started pounding. She pulled out her phone and called Minho. "Where are you?" He answered immediately. "Walking home. There is a car following me." The line went silent for a moment. "Keep walking," Minho said. His voice was calm, but she could hear something underneath it. Something dangerous. "Do not run. Do not look back. I am sending someone. Who is following me? I do not know yet, but I will find out." Liara kept walking. Her legs felt shaky, but she forced herself to move normally. 2 minutes later, a motorcycle pulled up beside her. The rider was wearing all black. He did not speak, just gestured for her to get on. "That is Jin," Minho said through the phone. "Get on the bike." Liara got on the bike. Jin took off immediately, weaving through traffic at speeds that made Liara's stomach drop. The black sedan tried to follow, but Jin lost it within minutes. He took her to Minho's building, up the private elevator, straight to the penthouse. Minho was waiting. The moment she walked through the door, he pulled her into his arms. "Are you okay?" His hands moved over her, checking for injuries. "I am fine, scared but fine." Minho held her tighter. "I am going to find out who sent that car, and I am going to make them regret it. Do you have any idea who it could be?" "Several." Minho's jaw tightened. "But my best guess is Hana." "Hana, you think she would have me followed?" "I think Hana does not handle rejection well, and I think she sees you as an obstacle." "An obstacle to what?" "To getting what she wants, which is me, my position, my power. So she is trying to scare me away." "Probably." Minho pulled back to look at her. "Is it working?" Liara thought about it, about the fear she had felt, about the racing heart and the shaky legs. "No," she said finally. "It is not working." "Good. Because I am not letting you go." From that day forward, Liara had security. Jin became her shadow. Everywhere she went, he went. To her kitchen, to the grocery store, to her apartment. At first it felt intrusive, strange, like she had lost her privacy. But then she got used to it, and she realized that having someone watch her back felt better than being alone. Minho investigated the car. His people found evidence linking it to one of Hana's associates, but nothing concrete enough to confront her directly. "She is testing boundaries," Minho explained, "seeing how much she can get away with. What are you going to do about it?" "For now, nothing. If I confront her without proof, it will start a war. And wars are expensive. So we just let her intimidate me?" "No." Minho's eyes were hard. "We watch, we wait, we gather evidence. And when the time is right, we make her pay for every moment of fear she caused you." Liara believed him. The next month passed quietly. No more cars following her. No more obvious threats. Just the normal rhythm of building a relationship and running a business. Liara's catering company was booming. Minho's event had generated dozens of referrals. She hired 3 new staff members. She moved to a bigger kitchen. She started planning for the bakery she had always dreamed of opening. Minho supported all of it. He helped her find a location for the bakery, a beautiful space in a nice neighborhood with big windows and room for tables. "This is perfect," Liara said when he showed it to her. "It is yours if you want it. I cannot afford this." "You do not have to," Minho said. "I am buying it for you." Liara shook her head immediately. "No, I cannot let you do that." "Why not?" "Because I need to do this myself. Because if you buy it, it will not really be mine." Minho studied her for a moment. "You are stubborn," he said. "Yes, I like that about you." "Good, because it is not changing." They compromised. Minho provided a loan at 0 interest. Leora would pay it back over time from the bakery's profits. It was still his money, but at least she was earning it. The renovation took 2 months. Leora was there every day, supervising the construction, making decisions about paint colors and flooring and equipment. Minho came when he could. He rolled up his sleeves and helped paint walls. He carried furniture. He held ladders while she hung light fixtures. "You do not have to do this," Leora said one afternoon while they were both covered in paint. "You have people who could do this. I want to do this." Minho said, "I want to be part of building something with you." Leora kissed him, got paint on his face, did not apologize. The bakery opened on a bright Saturday morning in April. Leora stood behind the counter in her new chef's coat with her name embroidered on it. Kafilwi was beside her. Her new staff was ready. Minho was in the back, staying out of the way but close enough to watch. The first customer was a woman with 2 children. She ordered cupcakes and a coffee. She paid. She left happy. The second customer was a man who wanted a custom cake for his wife's birthday. He placed an order for the following week. The third customer was Hana. Leora's smile froze. Hana walked in like she owned the place. She looked around with a critical eye, took in the pastel colors and the display cases and the chalkboard menu. "Cute," Hana said, in a quaint sort of way. "Can I help you?" Leora kept her voice professional. Hana walked to the counter, leaned in close. "I wanted to see what all the fuss was about," Hana said quietly. "Minho has been spending a lot of time here, helping you build this little shop, neglecting his actual responsibilities. His responsibilities are his business. His responsibilities are my business." Hana's smile was sharp. "We run an organization together. When he is distracted, it affects everyone. If you have concerns about Minho's focus, maybe you should talk to him." "I have." Hana straightened. "He did not listen. He never listens when it comes to you. That is a problem. Is there anything else I can help you with?" Leora asked. "Or did you just come to threaten me?" "I am not threatening you," Hana said. "I am warning you. Minho's world is not kind to outsiders. People who do not belong tend to disappear." "Is that what happened to the car that followed me?" Leora asked. "It disappeared too." Hana's expression flickered, just for a moment. Then the mask was back. "I do not know what you are talking about." "Of course you do not." They stared at each other across the counter. Then Minho appeared. He walked out of the back room and stood beside Leora. His hand found the small of her back. A possessive gesture, a message. "Hana," he said. His voice was cold. "What are you doing here?" "Getting coffee." Hana smiled sweetly. "I heard this place was good. Get your coffee somewhere else." "Minu, is that any way to treat an old friend? You are not my friend." Minho's eyes were hard. "You are a business associate. And right now, you are in my woman's shop making her uncomfortable. Leave, your woman." Hana laughed. "How primitive." "Leave," Minho repeated. "Now." Hana looked between them. Something ugly flickered in her eyes. "Fine," she said. "I will leave, but this is not over, Minho. You cannot protect her forever." She turned and walked out. The shop was silent. Leora let out a breath she did not know she had been holding. "I am sorry," Minho said. "I should have handled her before this. It is not your fault." "It is." He turned to face her. His hands cupped her face. "She has been a problem for too long. I have let it slide because of our history, our families. But she crossed a line today. She will not do it again. What are you going to do?" "Whatever I have to." The look in his eyes made Leora shiver, not with fear, with something else entirely. That night, Minho did not go home. He stayed at Leora's apartment. They cooked dinner together, watched a movie, talked about nothing important. And then, when the night grew late and the city grew quiet, something shifted. They were sitting on the couch. Close. The TV was still on, but neither of them was watching. Minho turned to look at her. "Leora, yes, I love you." The words hung in the air between them. Leora's heart stopped, started again. What? I love you, Minho said again. His voice was steady. Sifta, I have been in love with you since the moment I saw you standing in that ballroom refusing to cry. I love your strength, your stubbornness, your talent, your laugh. I love everything about you. Leora felt tears prick her eyes. I love you too, she whispered. Minho kissed her. This kiss was different from all the others, deeper, more urgent, full of everything they had been holding back. They moved from the couch to the bedroom, slowly, deliberately, giving each other time to change their minds. Neither of them changed their minds. What happened next was private, sacred, a coming together of two people who had found each other against all odds. When it was over, they lay tangled in the sheets. Leora's head on Minho's chest, his fingers tracing patterns on her back. Stay, she whispered. Always. They slept, wrapped around each other, safe. Leora woke first the next morning. She lay there watching Minho sleep. His face was softer in rest, younger, the hard edges smoothed away. Shh. He loved him completely, terrifyingly, and she knew with absolute certainty that he loved her too. Stop right here. I need to say something. If this story is making you feel things, you need to share it. Send it to your best friend. Post it on social media. Tell everyone you know. And if you are not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Hit that button. The best parts of this story are still coming. Trust me. Now, let us continue. The weeks after that night were perfect. Leora's bakery was thriving. She had regular customers now. People who came every morning for coffee and pastries. People who placed orders for birthday cakes and wedding cakes and anniversary celebrations. She was building something real, and she was doing it with Minho by her side. He came to the bakery every morning before work, sat at his favorite table in the corner, drank coffee, watched her. You are staring, Leora said one morning. I am admiring. Same thing. Not the same thing at all. He pulled her onto his lap, right there in the middle of the shop. Her staff pretended not to notice. I have something for you, Minho said. What? He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Leora's heart stopped. Relax. Minho laughed. It is not a ring, not yet. He opened the box. Inside was a key. Simple silver. What is this? The key to my penthouse. Minho said. I want you to move in with me. Leora stared at the key. At him. Back at the key. This is fast, she said. I know. We have only been together a few months. I know. People will talk. I do not care about people. Leora looked at him. At the man who had changed her life, who had saved her and protected her, and loved her in ways she never thought she deserved. Yes, she said. Yes, yes. I will move in with you. Minho kissed her. Hard, possessive, happy. She moved in that weekend. Her small apartment was packed up in boxes. Her cat Felix was relocated to the penthouse where he immediately claimed the leather couch as his own. Leora looked around at the space that was now her home too. The floor-to-ceiling windows, the modern furniture, the art. It still felt surreal. You okay? Minho asked, wrapping his arms around her from behind. I am great. Leora leaned back into him, just taking it all in. You will get used to it. Will I? You will get used to everything. Minho pressed a kiss to her neck, including me. I do not want to get used to you. Leora turned in his arms. I want every day with you to feel special. It will. Minho promised. Because every day with you is the best day of my life. They christened every room in the penthouse that night, starting with the kitchen and ending in the bedroom. By the time they collapsed into bed, exhausted and happy, the sun was coming up. I love you, Leora whispered. I love you more. Not possible. They slept until noon. Life settled into a rhythm. Leora went to the bakery early every morning. Minho went to his office. They met for lunch when they could, had dinner together every night. It was domestic, normal. Everything Liara had always wanted but never thought she could have. But normal never lasts, not in Minho's world. The trouble started on a Tuesday afternoon. Liara was at the bakery decorating a wedding cake when her phone rang. Unknown number, she answered anyway. Liara. The voice on the other end made her blood run cold. Thabo, how did you get this number? It does not matter. Thabo's voice was strange. Off, I need to talk to you. We have nothing to talk about. Please. I know I do not deserve it, but please, just hear me out. Liara should hang up. She knew she should hang up, but something in his voice made her pause. Fear. Real fear. What do you want? She asked. I am in trouble, Thabo said. Big trouble. And your boyfriend is the cause. What are you talking about? He destroyed me. Thabo's voice cracked. After the engagement party, he went after my business, my reputation, everything. I lost my job, my apartment. My girlfriend left me. I have nothing. That is not my problem. It is your problem, because I have information about him, about what he really is. Liara's hand tightened on the phone. I know what he is. Do you? Thabo laughed bitterly. Do you know about the people he has killed, the families he has destroyed, the blood on his hands? You do not know anything. I know more than you think, Thabo said. I have been digging, talking to people, and I found things that could bring him down. Why are you telling me this? Because I want you to leave him, Thabo said. Get out while you still can, before you become another casualty. I am not going anywhere. Then you will regret it. Thabo's voice hardened. I am going public with everything I know. I am going to expose him for what he really is. The line went dead. Liara stood there for a long moment, her heart pounding. Then she called Minho. What did he say? Minho asked when she finished explaining. He said he is going to expose you, that he has information. What kind of information? I do not know. He did not give specifics. The line was silent for a moment. Come home, Minho said finally. Now, I will send Jin. Is it that serious? I do not know yet, but I want you safe while I figure it out. Jin arrived 10 minutes later. Liara left Kafilwi in charge and went with him. Minho was waiting at the penthouse when she arrived. He pulled her into his arms immediately. Are you okay? I am fine, just worried. Do not be. Minho pulled back to look at her. Whatever Thabo thinks he knows, he cannot hurt us. He is a desperate man grasping at straws. What if he does know something? Then I deal with it. Minho's eyes were hard. I have dealt with worse. That was what Liara was afraid of. Over the next few days, Minho was different, distracted, tense. He took more phone calls than usual, had more meetings, came home later. Something is wrong, Liara said one night. I am handling it. Handling what? Minho sighed. Thabo has been talking to people, journalists, prosecutors, anyone who will listen. And some of them are listening. He has enough pieces of the truth to be dangerous. Not enough to do real damage, but enough to cause problems. What kind of problems? The kind that draw attention. Minho rubbed his eyes. I have spent years keeping my business out of the spotlight. Thabo is threatening to undo all of that. What are you going to do? Minho looked at her for a long moment. Whatever I have to. The way he said it made Liara's stomach clench. What does that mean? It means I protect what is mine, my business, my people, you, not by hurting Thabo. Minho did not answer. Promise me, Liara said. Her voice was urgent. Promise me you will not hurt him. I cannot promise that. He is trying to destroy us. Minho's voice was hard. He called you, threatened you, tried to scare you away from me. And now he is going to journalists with information that could put us both in danger. So we fight him legally. We sue him for slander. We discredit him. We do it the right way. The right way takes time, Minho said. Time we might not have. Then we find time. Leora grabbed his hands. I am not asking you to be a saint. I know who you are. I know what you are capable of. But I am asking you, please, do not become a murderer because of me. Minho stared at her. The silence stretched between them. Fine, he said finally. I will try it your way. But if it does not work, if he keeps coming after you, then we reassess. Liara said, together. They held each other that night. But Leora could not sleep. She lay awake thinking about Thabo, about the fear in his voice, about the desperation that made people do stupid things, and she wondered if she had just made a terrible mistake. The next week was chaos. Thabo did exactly what he threatened. He went to a journalist with his story, an expose about Kang Min-ho and his criminal empire, names, dates, allegations. The story ran on a Monday. By Tuesday, it was everywhere. Min-ho's face was on the news. His business was under scrutiny. His associates were nervous. And Liara's bakery was surrounded by reporters. She could not leave, could not go to the front, could not even look out the windows without cameras flashing. Min-ho sent security to get her out through the back. They took her to the penthouse where she stayed, trapped, watching the news coverage unfold. How bad is it? She asked when Min-ho finally came home that night. Bad. He poured himself a drink. His hands were steady, but his jaw was tight. Half of what Thabo told them is lies, but the other half is close enough to the truth that it is hard to discredit. What are you going to do? My lawyers are handling the public response. Min-ho sat down heavily. We are threatening to sue the journalist for defamation, but the damage is already done. The attention is on me now. I am so sorry. This is not your fault. It feels like it is. Leora sat beside him. If I had just let you handle Thabo your way. No. Min-ho cut her off. You were right. If I had hurt him then, it would have been worse. He would have become a martyr. This way, at least, I can fight back legally. Can you win? I always win. Min-ho looked at her. It just might take longer than I want. The scandal dominated the news for 2 weeks. Reporters dug into Min-ho's past, his family, his business dealings. Everything was scrutinized and analyzed and discussed. Liara's name came up too, the caterer, the girlfriend, the mystery woman from South Africa. Her bakery became a target for both reporters and protesters, people who believed Thabo's story, people who thought she was complicit in whatever crimes Min-ho had committed. She closed the bakery temporarily, sent her staff home, hid in the penthouse and watched her dream fall apart. Min-ho found her crying one night. Hey, he knelt in front of her. Talk to me. I am losing everything. Leora wiped her eyes. My bakery, my reputation, everything I worked for. You are not losing me. I know. Liara looked at him. But is that enough? The question hung between them. Yes, Min-ho said finally. It is enough. It has to be enough, because I cannot lose you. I will not survive it. Leora pulled him close. They held each other while the world fell apart around them. And then, just when things seemed darkest, everything changed. Okay, I am stopping here because this moment is too important. If you have made it this far, you are truly invested in Liara and Min-ho. But the story is about to take a turn that will change everything. Are you ready? Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure notifications are on. Leave a comment telling me what you think is about to happen. And get ready for batch 3 because it is coming in hot. 3 weeks after the scandal broke, Thabo disappeared. No one knew where he went. His apartment was empty. His phone was disconnected. The journalist he had been working with could not reach him. Min-ho swore he had nothing to do with it. I told you I would try it your way, he said. I kept my word. Then where is he? I do not know. And frankly, I do not care. But Leora cared. Something about it felt wrong. She tried to find him, made phone calls, reached out to mutual acquaintances from their past. Nothing. It was like Thabo had vanished into thin air. 2 days later, a package arrived at the penthouse. Jin brought it up, suspicious, handled it carefully. Inside was a USB drive and a note. The note said, "Watch this." Minho plugged in the drive. The video showed Thabo. He was sitting in a chair in what looked like an empty warehouse. His face was bruised. His lip was split, and behind him stood Hana. "I want to thank Mr. Makona for his cooperation," Hana said in the video. She was smiling, cold, cruel. "He has been very helpful in providing information about Kang Minho's organization. Unfortunately, his usefulness has come to an end." She pulled out a gun. The video ended with a single gunshot. Leora screamed. Minho grabbed her, held her. "Do not look. Do not think about it. She killed him." Leora was shaking. "Hana killed him, yes. Because of the scandal. Because of the information he leaked. Because of me." Minho's voice was hard. "Because she wanted to hurt me. And she knew hurting you would be the best way to do it." Leora pulled back. This was supposed to be over. We were handling it legally. "Hana does not care about legal," Minho said. "She cares about power, and she just made her move." "What does that mean?" "It means war. I know you have questions. What is going to happen next? How will Minho respond to Hana? Is Leora in danger? The answers are coming soon. But I need you to do something first. Hit that like button. Share this video. Subscribe if you have not already. And leave a comment telling me how you are feeling right now. Because this story is about to get even more intense. The penthouse felt like a prison. Minho had tripled security. Guards at every entrance. Cameras everywhere. Jin stayed within arm's reach of Leora at all times. She could not go to the bakery, could not go outside, could not do anything except wait and watch Minho prepare for war. He was different now, harder, colder. The softness she loved disappeared behind a mask of calculation and rage. "What is the plan?" Leora asked one morning. "You do not need to know the plan. I do, because this affects me too." Minho looked at her. His eyes were tired, dark circles underneath. "The plan is to destroy Hana before she destroys us." "How?" "By taking everything she has. Her money, her allies, her power. I am going to dismantle her piece by piece until there is nothing left. And then I am going to kill her." The words hung in the air. Min-o. Leora's voice was quiet. "You cannot. I can. I have to. She murdered someone and sent us the video. She is not going to stop. There has to be another way. There is not." He turned and walked out of the room. Leora stood there alone, her heart breaking. The man she loved was disappearing, being replaced by something harder, something dangerous, and she did not know how to bring him back. The next few days were tense. Minho came and went at strange hours. He took calls in other rooms, had meetings she was not allowed to attend. She felt like a ghost in her own home. One night, she woke up alone. Minho's side of the bed was empty, cold. He had been gone for hours. She got up and wandered through the dark penthouse. Found him in his office, staring at screens filled with information, documents, photos, maps, everything he needed to take down Hana. "You should be sleeping," he said without turning around. "So should you. I cannot sleep. Not until this is over." Leora walked up behind him, put her hands on his shoulders. "Talk to me," she said. "Tell me what is happening." Minho was quiet for a long moment. Then he started talking. "Hana has been planning this for years," he said. "Ever since I rejected her. She has been building alliances behind my back, turning my associates against me, waiting for the right moment to strike. Thabo was that moment. Thabo was useful to her. A way to create chaos, to distract me while she positioned her pieces. And now she thinks she has the advantage. Minho's voice was hard. She is wrong. What are you going to do? I am going to take her apart, starting with her money. Leora listened as he explained. Hana's wealth came from legitimate businesses that were fronts for illegal operations. Money laundering, smuggling, things that looked clean on the surface but were rotten underneath. Minho had spent days gathering evidence, documenting everything, building a case that would destroy her. You are going to turn her in? Leora asked. I am going to give the authorities everything they need to arrest her, and while she is fighting legal battles, I am going to take her allies, one by one, until she has no one left. That is not killing her. No. Minho turned to face her. It is worse. Killing her would be quick, merciful. This will be slow, painful. She will watch everything she built crumble around her. And if she comes after you first, she will try. But I will be ready. What about me? Leora asked quietly. What if she comes after me? Minho's expression changed. Something fierce flickered in his eyes. She will not touch you. I will not let her. You cannot be everywhere at once. I do not have to be. Minho stood up, cupped her face in his hands. I have people, resources, an entire organization dedicated to keeping you safe, but you cannot promise nothing will happen. No, I cannot promise that. But I can promise that if anything happens to you, I will burn her world to the ground, every person she loves, everything she values. I will destroy it all. The intensity in his voice made Leora shiver. I do not want you to become a monster because of me. I am already a monster. Minho said quietly. You just make me want to be better. He kissed her, hard, desperate, like he was trying to memorize the feel of her. When they pulled apart, they were both breathing hard. Come to bed, Leora whispered. Whatever happens tomorrow, we have tonight. Minho let her lead him to the bedroom. They did not sleep for hours. The next morning, everything changed. Minho's people moved against Hana. Anonymous tips to federal investigators. Documents leaked to journalists. Bank accounts frozen. Business partners contacted and turned. Within 48 hours, Hana's empire was crumbling. She was arrested on a Thursday morning. The video footage showed her being led out of her penthouse in handcuffs. Her perfect hair was messy. Her designer clothes were wrinkled. She looked terrified. Leora watched the news coverage from Minho's office. Is it over? She asked. Not yet. Minho was watching the same footage, but his expression was not satisfied. It was wary. She still has allies, people who owe her favors. She will try something. From prison? She has money hidden, resources we did not find, and she is smart. Desperate and smart is a dangerous combination. So we keep the security. We keep everything. Minho looked at her. Until I am certain she cannot hurt you, nothing changes. Leora wanted to argue, wanted to say she was tired of living like a prisoner, but she saw the fear in his eyes, the same fear she felt. Okay, she said, we keep everything. 2 weeks passed. Hana remained in custody. Her trial was scheduled for the following month. Minho's lawyers said she would be convicted. The evidence was overwhelming. But Minho did not relax. Neither did Leora. She went back to the bakery eventually, with Jin and 2 other guards. It felt strange, being there again after everything. Her customers had stayed loyal, some of them anyway. The ones who did not believe the scandal. The ones who cared more about her pastries than her boyfriend's reputation. She threw herself into work. New recipes, new decorations. Anything to keep her mind off Hana. One afternoon, a woman came into the bakery. Leora did not recognize her at first. She was older, maybe 60, with silver hair and kind eyes. She ordered a coffee and a croissant and sat at the table by the window. Something about her felt familiar. Leora brought the order herself. Thank you, the woman said. She had an accent. Korean. You are welcome. Do I know you? The woman smiled. No, but I know you. I have been watching you for a while. Leora's heart rate spiked. Jin, she called. The woman held up her hands. I am not here to hurt you. I am here to warn you. Warn me about what? Hana is not finished. The woman's voice was urgent. She has people outside, people who are planning something. How do you know this? Because I am her mother. Leora stared at her. Jin was there now, his hand on his weapon. It is okay, Leora said. She turned back to the woman. Why are you telling me this? Because my daughter has become something I do not recognize. The woman's eyes were sad, something cold, cruel. I tried to stop her. I failed. But I can warn you. What is she planning? The woman leaned closer. She has someone inside Minho's organization, a mole, someone close to him. Who? I do not know. But they are going to strike soon, when you least expect it. Why should I believe you? The woman reached into her purse, pulled out a photograph. Leora looked at it. A young Hana, maybe 16, smiling with her arm around a boy about the same age. That is Minho, the woman said. They were friends once, before everything went wrong. Leora looked at the photo, at the easy smiles, the genuine happiness. What happened to them? Power happened. The woman took back the photo. My daughter wanted it. Minho had it. She convinced herself that if she married him, she could share it. When he rejected her, something broke inside her. So all of this is because he would not marry her. All of this is because my daughter does not know how to lose. The woman stood up. Be careful, Miss Lyra, and tell Minho what I told you. There is a snake in his garden. She left without looking back. Jin looked at Leora. Should I follow her? No. Let her go. Leora pulled out her phone. But I need to call Minho. Now. Minho was at the bakery within an hour. He listened to everything Leora told him. His expression grew darker with every word. A mole, he said when she finished. Inside my organization. That is what she said. And you believe her? I do not know, Leora admitted. But it felt true. She seemed genuinely scared for us. Minho was quiet for a long moment. If there is a mole, it explains a few things. He was thinking out loud. Information that got out. Plans that went wrong. I thought it was bad luck. Now I am not so sure. Can you find them? I will have to. Minho looked at her. Until then, trust no one. Not even people you think you know. Not even Jin. Minho hesitated. Jin has been with me for 10 years. He saved my life twice. I trust him with everything. But if Hana's mother is right, then someone I trust is betraying me. And I do not know who. The next few days were paranoid. Minho tested his people, gave different information to different associates, watched to see what leaked. The answer came faster than expected. It was not Jin. It was someone worse. Park Sung-woo. Minho said the name like a curse. Who is that? Leora asked. My second in command. The man who has been running operations while I focused on Hana. The man I trusted with everything. Why would he betray you? Money. Power. Promises from Hana that she would make him my equal. What are you going to do? Minho's expression was cold. What I should have done to Hana. Leora grabbed his arm. Minho, do not. He looked at her. His eyes were dark, dangerous. He sold us out. He has been feeding Hana information for months about our security, our movements. I understand, but killing him will not fix anything. It will fix the problem of him being alive. Oh, please. Something in her voice made him stop, made him really look at her. I am tired, Leora said. Tired of death, tired of fear. Tired of watching you become someone I do not recognize. Minho's expression cracked, just for a moment. I am still me, he said quietly. Are you? Because the man I fell in love with wanted to be better. The man I fell in love with listened when I asked him not to kill. I am trying. Try harder. They stared at each other. Finally, Min-ho exhaled. Fine, he said. No killing. But he goes to prison. With Hana. They can rot together. Okay. Leora touched his face. Thank you. Do not thank me yet. We still have to catch him. They caught him that night. Sung-woo did not go quietly. There was a fight. Guns drawn. Men shouting. But in the end, Min-ho's people were better, faster, more loyal. Sung-woo was taken alive, handed over to the same authorities investigating Hana, and just like that, the threat was neutralized. Is it over now? Liara asked as they watched Sung-woo being driven away in a police car. Almost, Min-ho said. One more thing. What? Hana's trial. I need to testify. About what? Everything. Min-ho looked at her. The only way to make sure she never gets out is to tell the truth, all of it. About my family, my organization, my crimes. You could go to prison too. I could. Min-ho nodded. My lawyers are negotiating immunity in exchange for testimony, but there are no guarantees. Leora felt her stomach drop. You could go to prison, she repeated. Yes, and you are still going to testify. I have to. If I do not, she walks. And if she walks, she comes after you again. So you are risking your freedom, for me, for us. Min-ho took her hands. For the life we want to build together. Leora's eyes filled with tears. I love you, she said. I love you too. Min-ho kissed her forehead. That is why I am doing this. Okay, I need to stop here and say something. This story just took a massive turn. Min-ho is about to risk everything for Leora. Everything. His freedom, his empire, his entire life. Are you feeling this? Because if you are, you need to show some love. Hit that like button. Leave a comment telling me how you are feeling. And subscribe if you have not already, because Batch 4 is going to be even more intense. Now let us continue. The trial started 3 weeks later. Leora sat in the courtroom every day. Front row, where Min-ho could see her. She watched as lawyers argued, as witnesses testified, as Hana sat in the defendant's chair looking smaller and smaller with each passing day. And then it was Min-ho's turn. He walked to the stand in a dark suit. His hair was neat, his expression was calm. But Leora could see his hands shaking slightly. He was nervous. The prosecutor started with basic questions. Who was Min-ho? What was his relationship to Hana? How long had they known each other? Then the questions got harder. Mr. Kang, the prosecutor said, can you describe the nature of your business? Min-ho took a breath. I run an organization that operates in both legitimate and illegitimate sectors, import and export, real estate, and other ventures that are not legal. A murmur went through the courtroom. Can you be more specific? We have been involved in money laundering, smuggling, bribery of government officials. And what is your role in these activities? I am the head of the organization. Everything goes through me. Leora watched as Min-ho laid himself bare. Every crime, every secret, everything he had spent years hiding. Hana's lawyers tried to use it against him, tried to paint him as the real criminal, tried to make the jury doubt his testimony. But Min-ho was unshakable. Yes, I am a criminal, he said at one point. I have done terrible things. But Hana is worse, because she does not just break laws. She breaks people. She destroyed a man's life and sent his murder to us on video. She is not a businesswoman. She is a monster. The trial lasted 2 weeks. At the end, the jury deliberated for 3 days. Guilty, on all counts. Hana screamed when the verdict was read, had to be restrained by guards, dragged out of the courtroom still shouting threats. Life in prison. No possibility of parole. It was over. Min-ho walked out of the courthouse to a crowd of reporters. Mr. Kang, are you relieved? Mr. Kang, will you face charges? Mr. Kang, is it true you are in a relationship with the caterer? Min-ho ignored all of them, walked straight to Leora. pulled her into his arms. "It is over," he said against her hair. "Is it? What about you? Are they going to charge you?" "My lawyers are handling it. I have been granted limited immunity in exchange for my testimony. The other charges are being negotiated." "What does that mean?" "It means I might have to pay fines, do community service. But I am not going to prison." Leora sagged against him with relief. "Thank God." "Thank you," Minho corrected, "for staying, for believing in me, for making me want to be better. I did not do anything. You did everything." They walked to the car together, drove back to the penthouse in silence. That night they lay in bed and talked about the future. "What happens now?" Leora asked. "Whatever we want." Minho traced patterns on her back. "The organization is being restructured. I am stepping back from the illegal operations, going legitimate. Can you do that?" "It will take time, but yes, I can do that." "And what do I do?" "Whatever you want. Your bakery, a restaurant, a chain of bakeries, anything, anything, anything." Minho kissed her shoulder. "I want to build a life with you, a real life, with children and holidays and growing old together. Children, if you want them." Leora's heart swelled. "I want them," she whispered. "I want everything with you." "Then you will have everything." The next few months were quiet. No more threats. No more scandals. No more danger. Just life. Leora reopened her bakery properly, hired more staff, started planning the expansion she had always dreamed of. Minho kept his promise. He stepped back from the organization, let others handle the day-to-day while he focused on going legitimate. It was not easy. There were complications, old debts, old enemies, people who did not want to see him change, but they handled it together. 6 months after the trial, Minho took Leora to dinner at the restaurant where they had their first date, the same table, the same wine, the same chef's tasting menu. "What is this about?" Leora asked. "Can a man not take his girlfriend to dinner?" "He can, but you have been nervous all day." Minho laughed. "You know me too well." "I do. So tell me." Minho reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box. Leora's heart stopped. "Leora," Minho said, "from the moment I saw you standing in that ballroom refusing to cry, I knew you were different. I knew you were special. I knew I wanted you in my life." He opened the box. Inside was a ring, simple, beautiful, a diamond surrounded by smaller stones. "I love you," Minho continued, "more than I have ever loved anything. You make me want to be better. You make me want to be worthy of you. Will you marry me?" Leora was crying. "Yes," she managed. "Yes, 1,000 times yes." Minho slid the ring onto her finger, kissed her, held her. The restaurant erupted in applause, but Leora barely heard it. All she heard was her own heartbeat and Minho whispering "I love you" against her lips. They got married 3 months later. It was a small ceremony, just close friends and family. Kafilwi was there. Jin was there. Even Hana's mother came, though she sat in the back and left before the reception. Leora wore white, a simple dress that hugged her curves and made her feel like a queen. Minho wore black, a perfectly tailored suit that made him look like the dangerous, beautiful man she had fallen in love with. They wrote their own vows. Leora went first. "Minho," she said, 2 years ago I was standing in a ballroom covered in wine, watching my life fall apart. I thought I had lost everything. I thought I would never be happy again. And then you appeared. You saved me. Not just from Thabo, from myself, from the fear that I was not enough. You showed me that I am strong, that I am worthy, that I deserve love. I promise to spend the rest of my life showing you the same thing. I love you, today, tomorrow, forever." Minho wiped his eyes before he started. "Leora," he said, "I have done terrible things in my life, things I am not proud of, things I will spend years trying to make up for. But meeting you was not one of them. Loving you was not one of them. You are the best thing that has ever happened to me. You make me want to be better. You make me want to be worthy. I promise to protect you, to cherish you, to love you with everything I have, until my last breath and beyond. The officiant pronounced them husband and wife. Min-ho kissed her. The small crowd cheered, and Leora knew with absolute certainty that this was where she was meant to be. The reception was perfect. Good food, good music, good company. Kafilwi gave a speech that made everyone laugh. Jin gave a speech that made everyone cry, and then it was time for their first dance. Min-ho pulled Leora onto the dance floor, held her close. "Are you happy?" he asked. "I am beyond happy. Good, because this is just the beginning." "What does that mean?" "It means I have plans for us. Big plans." "Like what?" "Like the house I bought for us last week." Leora pulled back. "What?" "A house with a big kitchen for you. A garden for the children we are going to have. Room to grow." "You bought a house without telling me?" "I wanted it to be a surprise." Min-ho grinned. "Are you surprised? I am going to kill you. You love me too much." "I do." Leora laughed. "I really do." They danced until their feet hurt. Then they danced some more. At the end of the night, Min-ho carried her to the car. "I can walk," Leora protested. "I know, but I want to carry you." "Why?" "Because you are my wife, and I will take any excuse to hold you." Leora stopped protesting. They went to the penthouse that night, their last night there before moving to the new house. Min-ho carried her over the threshold. "Welcome home, Mrs. Kang. It is not the new house. It is still home, because you are here." They did not sleep much that night. Before we continue with the next part of their story, I need you to do something. This is the moment, the wedding, the happiness, the promise of a future. If this touched you, show some love. Like, comment, subscribe. Share with your friends who love stories like this, because Batch 4 is coming, and it is going to bring more surprises. Ready? Let us continue. The new house was everything Min-ho had promised. A sprawling property outside the city, modern but warm. Floor-to-ceiling windows that let in natural light. A kitchen that made Leora cry when she first saw it. "This is for me?" she asked. "Everything is for you." She cooked their first meal in the new kitchen that night. A simple pasta. Min-ho sat at the island and watched her. "You are staring," she said. "I am admiring." Same thing. Not the same thing at all. She threw a piece of pasta at him. He caught it in his mouth. They ate dinner on the back porch, watching the sun set. "I want to get a dog," Leora said. "Done. And a cat. We already have Felix. Felix needs a friend. Done. What else? A bigger garden. I want to grow vegetables. We will hire someone to help. And chickens." Min-ho laughed. "Chickens? For fresh eggs? We are not getting chickens. We will see." They did get chickens. 3 months later. Min-ho pretended to hate them, but Leora caught him feeding them treats when he thought no one was watching. Life settled into a rhythm. Leora ran her bakery. It had expanded now. 3 locations across the city. A staff of 30. A reputation that brought customers from miles away. Min-ho ran his legitimate businesses. Heiao Estate. Import and export. The kind of work that did not require bodyguards or secret meetings. They were happy, normal. A year after their wedding, Leora started feeling sick. Not terribly sick, just tired. Queasy in the mornings, sensitive to smells. She knew what it meant before she even took the test. 2 pink lines. She sat on the bathroom floor and cried. Min-ho found her there when he came home. "What is wrong?" He dropped to his knees beside her. "Are you hurt?" "No." Leora held up the test. "I am pregnant." Min-ho stared at it. "Pregnant," he repeated. "Yes, we are having a baby." "Yes, a baby." "Minol, say something else." He looked at her. His eyes were wet. "I love you," he said, "and I am going to be a father." "Yes." He pulled her into his arms, held her tight. "Thank you," he whispered. Thank you for everything. They stayed on the bathroom floor for a long time, holding each other, crying, laughing, planning their future. The pregnancy was smooth. Liara had morning sickness for the first 3 months, but it passed. She craved strange things, pickles and ice cream, spicy noodles at 3 a.m, oranges by the dozen. Minho indulged every craving. At 4 months, they found out the sex. A girl. Minho cried again. Are you disappointed? Liara asked. I know some men want sons. Disappointed. Minho looked at her like she was crazy. I am terrified. A daughter. A little girl who looks like you. I am going to have to fight off boys for the rest of my life. She might look like you. Then I will have to fight off even more boys. Liara laughed. They decorated the nursery together. Soft pink and cream. A crib that cost more than Liara's first car. Books and toys and tiny clothes. Minho read to the baby every night, pressed his lips to Liara's belly and talked about all the things they would do together. I am going to teach you to ride a bike, he would say, and to swim, and to throw a punch, because no one messes with a Kang. You are not teaching our daughter to fight. Every woman should know how to defend herself. He had a point. Liara let it go. At 8 months, Liara stopped working. The bakery was in good hands. Kafilwi had become her business partner, could handle anything. Liara spent her days resting, reading, preparing, and waiting. The baby came on a Wednesday night. Liara's water broke at dinner. They barely made it to the hospital in time. 12 hours of labor. Minho held her hand through all of it, never left her side. And then, just before dawn, their daughter arrived. She was perfect. Tiny and red and screaming. Minho cut the cord, cried for the 3rd time that day. They named her Hana, not after Hana. The name meant something different to them, something beautiful. Anna, flower, the beginning of new life. Liara held her daughter and felt her heart expand to make room. She is perfect, Minho whispered. She is ours. She is ours. The first few months were hard. No sleep, constant feeding. A tiny human who needed them for everything. But they handled it together. Minho woke up for night feedings, changed diapers, walked the halls with Hana when she would not stop crying. I thought crime bosses did not change diapers, Liara joked one night. Former crime bosses, Minho corrected. And this former crime boss would do anything for his daughter. He meant it. Liara watched him with Hana, the way he held her so gently, the way he sang to her in Korean, the way his entire face softened when she looked at him. She fell in love with him all over again. Hana grew. She took her first steps at 11 months, said her first word at 12. Mama, of course, which made Minho pretend to be offended. She had Minho's dark hair and Liara's warm brown skin, a perfect combination of both of them. She is beautiful, people said. She is trouble, Minho replied, but he said it with pride. On Hana's first birthday, they threw a party. The whole family was there. Kefilwe, Jin, business associates who had become friends. Even Hana's mother, who had become something like a grandmother to little Hana. Liara watched her daughter smash cake with her tiny fists and felt overwhelmed with gratitude. 2 years ago, she had been alone, humiliated, convinced she would never be happy again. Now she had everything. A husband who loved her fiercely, a daughter who filled her with joy, a business she was proud of, a life she never dared to dream of. What are you thinking about? Minho asked, wrapping his arms around her from behind. How lucky I am. We are both lucky. No. Liara turned to face him. You saved me. That night at the wedding, you changed everything. You saved yourself. I just helped. That is not true. It is. Minho kissed her forehead. You are the strongest person I know. You would have found a way. You always do. Maybe, but I am glad I did not have to find it alone. You will never be alone again. Minho promised. I will always be here, always. always. They kissed while their daughter screamed with delight and threw cake at Jin. It was perfect. Life continued. Hana grew into a fierce, stubborn toddler who had her father wrapped around her tiny finger. She demanded stories at bedtime and refused to eat anything green and had a temper that rivaled both of her parents combined. Liara loved every moment of it. The bakery continued to grow. 5 locations now. Plans for more. Minho's legitimate businesses thrived. He was no longer the crime boss everyone feared. He was a businessman, a husband, a father. Sometimes he missed the old life, the danger, the power. But then he would come home to Liara and Hana and remember why he had given it up. This was better. This was everything. 2 years after Hana was born, Liara got pregnant again. This time it was a boy. Minho was equally terrified and excited. A son, he said. What do I do with a son? The same thing you do with a daughter. Love him. What if he wants to join the business? Then you teach him to do it right. What if he falls in love with someone dangerous? Then you support him, like I supported you. Minho pulled her close. How did I get so lucky? He asked. You saved a woman covered in wine and never let her go. Best decision I ever made. They named the boy Junho, after Minho's father, but with a different character. A new beginning instead of an old legacy. Junho was nothing like his sister. Where Hana was loud and demanding, Junho was quiet and observant. He watched everything with serious eyes, calculated before he acted. He is going to be dangerous, Jin observed. He is going to be brilliant, Liara corrected. Both could be true. The years passed. Hana started school, made friends, broke hearts, told everyone her father was the strongest man in the world. Junho started school, made few friends, read books constantly, told everyone his mother made the best cakes in the world. Minho and Liara grew older, wiser, more in love with each passing year. The bakery became an empire, 20 locations, a cookbook, a television appearance, everything Liara had ever dreamed of. Minho's businesses became even more legitimate. He sat on charity boards now, gave scholarships to underprivileged students, became known as a philanthropist instead of a criminal. The past faded, not forgotten, never forgotten, but no longer defining. On their 10th wedding anniversary, Minho took Liara back to the restaurant where he proposed. Same table, same wine, same menu. What is this about? Liara asked. Can a man not take his wife to dinner? He can. But you have been nervous all day. You still know me too well. I do. So tell me. Minho reached into his pocket, pulled out another box. Liara laughed. Another ring? Not a ring. He opened the box. Inside was a key. What is this? The key to a beach house. Minho said, I bought it for us, for our family. A place to escape, to make memories. You bought another house without telling me? I wanted it to be a surprise. Liara shook her head, laughed, cried. I love you, she said. I love you more, not possible. He kissed her, right there in the middle of the restaurant, like they were still newlyweds, like no time had passed at all. That night they went home to their children, tucked them into bed, told them about the beach house and the summers they would spend there. Hana was excited. Junho wanted to know if there would be a library. There will be whatever you want, Minho promised. Later, after the children were asleep, Liara and Minho lay in bed. Are you happy? He asked. The same question he always asked. Beyond happy, good, because this is just the beginning. There is more. There is always more. Minho pulled her close. As long as we are together, there is always more. Liara smiled. She thought about the woman she had been 10 years ago, covered in wine, humiliated, alone. She thought about everything that had happened since, the danger, the fear, the love that had saved her. And she knew, with absolute certainty, that it had all been worth it. Every moment of pain, every moment of fear, every moment of doubt, All of it had led her here, to this man, to this family, to this life. She would not change a single thing. Okay, this is the perfect place to stop and take a breath. 10 years of their story, a family, a life. But we are not done yet. Batch 4 is coming and there are still surprises ahead. If you have made it this far, you are truly part of this journey. Show your love, like, comment, subscribe, share, and get ready for what comes next. The beach house became their sanctuary. Every summer, they packed up the children and drove to the coast, spent weeks building sandcastles and swimming in the ocean and eating fresh seafood. Hana learned to surf. Junho learned to read in 3 languages. Minho learned to relax. Finally, after all those years of tension and danger, Leora learned that happiness was not something you achieved once. It was something you built every day, with intention, with love. Their friends visited sometimes. Kafilwi brought her own family. Jin brought whoever he was dating that month. The house filled with laughter and chaos and joy. This is what life is supposed to be, Liara said one evening. She was sitting on the porch, watching the sunset, a glass of wine in her hand. What? Minho sat beside her. This, peace, family, love, not the drama and the danger. Just this. I agree. Minho took her hand. I spent so many years chasing power, thinking that was what mattered. But this matters more. You matter more. You are getting sentimental in your old age. I am not old. You have gray hair, distinguished gray hair. Leora laughed, leaned her head on his shoulder. They watched the sun sink into the ocean. I love you, she said. I love you more. Still not possible. Still true. The years kept passing. Hana turned 18, went to university, called home every week with stories about her classes and her friends, and the boys she was definitely not dating. Junho turned 16, finished high school early, got accepted to a prestigious program, called home every day because he missed his mother's cooking. The house grew quiet. Empty nest, Minho said one night. I hate it. Me too. They filled the silence with each other, with travel, with new adventures. They went to South Africa for the first time since Leora had left, visited her grandmother's grave, showed Minho where she had grown up. It is beautiful here, he said. It was home. It can be home again, if you want. Leora thought about it. No, she said finally. Home is wherever you are. They went to Korea, met Minho's extended family. Some of them approved of Leora. Some of them did not. She did not care. They went to Italy, France, Japan, Brazil. They saw the world together. And then they came home. Always home. To the house with the big kitchen and the garden and the chickens Minho pretended to hate. Home was where their story lived. On their 20th wedding anniversary, their children threw them a party. Hana organized everything. The decorations, the food, the guest list. Junho handled the logistics, the timing, the surprises. They invited everyone who had been part of their parents' journey. Friends, family, colleagues. Even Hana's mother came. She was old now, fragile. But she still had those kind eyes. Your parents are proof that love can survive anything, she told Hana. Remember that. Hana did not fully understand. She had grown up in peace. She did not know about the danger and the fear and the war that had almost destroyed her parents before she was born. But she knew they loved each other. Fiercely, completely. That was enough. Minho gave a speech at the party. 20 years ago, he said, I walked into a ballroom and saw a woman covered in wine. She was humiliated, alone, and she was not crying. That is when I knew she was special. He looked at Leora. I did not save her that night. She saved me. From myself. From the person I was becoming. She showed me that there was another way to live. A better way. His voice caught. Leora, you are my heart. My home, my everything. Thank you for 20 years. Thank you for our children. Thank you for choosing me every single day. He raised his glass. To 20 more. The crowd echoed. To 20 more. Leora was crying. She gave her own speech. 20 years ago, she said, I thought my life was over. I thought I would never be happy again. I thought I was not worthy of love. She looked at Minho. He proved me wrong. Every single day for 20 years. He showed me that I was strong, that I was worthy, that I deserved everything. Her voice shook. Minho, you are my protector, my partner, my best friend. I would choose you again in every lifetime. Without hesitation, she raised her glass. To the man who changed my life. They danced that night, just like they had at their wedding, just like they had on 100 other nights, holding each other close, swaying to the music. Are you happy? He asked. Beyond happy. Good, because this is still just the beginning. The beginning of what? We are getting old. We are not old. Minho grinned. We are experienced. Leora laughed. He kissed her. Right there on the dance floor, in front of their children and their friends and everyone who mattered. 20 years later, and he still took her breath away. I love you, she whispered. I love you more. Still not possible. Still always true. 20 years of their story. A lifetime of love. But we are not done yet. The next one is coming with more of their journey. The final chapters. The resolution of everything. Are you ready? Subscribe, like, comment, share, and get ready for the next one. The years after their 20th anniversary brought unexpected challenges. Not danger. Not enemies. Just life. Leora's health started to change. Small things at first. Fatigue that would not go away. Headaches that came more frequently. A persistent cough that lingered for weeks. She ignored it. Blamed it on age, on stress, on running too hard for too long. Minho noticed. You need to see a doctor, he said one morning. I am fine. You are not fine. You have been tired for months. You cough every night. Something is wrong. I said I am fine. Minho did not push, but he watched her, worried. 3 months later, Leora collapsed in her bakery kitchen. One moment she was decorating a cake. The next moment she was on the floor, Kafilwi screaming, sirens in the distance. She woke up in a hospital bed with Minho holding her hand. His face was pale. His eyes were red. What happened? Leora asked. You collapsed. Your heart. Minho's voice was shaking. They say you need surgery. Surgery. A valve replacement. It is serious but treatable if we caught it earlier. His voice broke on the last word. Leora squeezed his hand. I am sorry, she said. I should have listened. Yes, you should have. Minho wiped his eyes. But we are not going to focus on T now. We are going to focus on getting you better. The surgery was scheduled for the following week. Hana flew home immediately. Junho followed the next day. They sat with their mother in shifts, telling stories, making her laugh, pretending everything was normal, but nothing was normal. The night before the surgery, Minho sent the children home. I need to talk to your mother alone, he said. They understood, left without argument. Minho sat on the edge of Leora's hospital bed, took her hands in his. I am scared, he admitted. I know. I cannot lose you. You are not going to lose me. You do not know that. Leora touched his face, traced the lines that had appeared over the years, the gray in his hair, the softness around his eyes. I have survived a lot, she said. A public humiliation, a crime boss, 2 children. I can survive this too. Minho almost smiled. Almost. I love you, he said. I love you more. Not possible. Always true. They held each other that night, did not sleep, just talked about their life, their children, their dreams. And when morning came, they faced it together. The surgery took 6 hours. Minho sat in the waiting room the entire time, did not eat, did not sleep, just stared at the door and waited for news. Hana and Junho sat with him, taking turns holding his hand. Bringing him water he did not drink. "She is going to be fine," Hana said. "You do not know that. I know Mom. She is the strongest person I have ever met. She is not going anywhere." Minho wanted to believe her, desperately. When the surgeon finally emerged, Minho was on his feet immediately. "The surgery was successful," the surgeon said. "She is in recovery. You can see her soon." Minho's knees buckled. Junho caught him. "She is okay," Junho said. "She is okay." Minho cried. For the first time since his children were born, Leora's recovery was slow. Weeks in the hospital, months of rehabilitation, a complete change in diet and lifestyle. She hated every moment of it. "I feel useless," she complained. "You are recovering. That is not useless. I want to be in my kitchen. Your kitchen will still be there when you are better. What if I am never better?" Minho took her face in his hands. "You will be better," he said firmly, "because you are too stubborn to be anything else." Leora laughed, the first real laugh in weeks. "I love you," she said. "I love you more." She recovered. It took time, patience, more than a few arguments when she tried to do too much too soon. But she recovered. 6 months after her surgery, she walked back into her bakery kitchen for the first time. Kafilwi had kept everything running perfectly. The staff had held things together, but it was not the same without Leora. "Welcome back, boss," Kafilwi said with a grin. "I was never gone," Leora replied, "just resting." She picked up a piping bag, started decorating a cake. Her hands were steady. Her heart was strong. She was home. "Okay, I need to pause here and say something." Life threw everything at Leora and Minho. Everything. But they survived. They always survive. If this story is touching your heart, show some love. Like, comment, subscribe, share with everyone you know. Because this story is not done yet. The best is still coming. Now let us continue. Life changed after the surgery. Leora stepped back from the bakery. Not completely, but enough. She let Kafilwi take over day-to-day operations. Focused on training the next generation. Started writing down recipes that had only existed in her head. She wanted to leave something behind. Just in case, Minho changed too. He worked less, spent more time at home. Took up gardening because Leora had always wanted a bigger vegetable patch, and he finally had time to help. They grew tomatoes and peppers and herbs. Minho pretended to hate it, but Leora caught him smiling at the plants when he thought no one was watching. "They are just vegetables," she said one day. "They are our vegetables. That is weirdly sweet. I am a weirdly sweet man. You are ridiculous. You love me anyway." She did. More every day. Their children visited more often after the surgery. Hana came home every other weekend. Brought friends sometimes. Cooked elaborate meals that were never quite as good as her mother's, but were made with love. She was 25 now. Working in marketing for a major company. Still fierce. Still stubborn. Still her father's daughter. Junho came home every month. Stayed for days. Read books in the garden and helped his father with the vegetables. He was 23 now. Finishing graduate school. Quiet and brilliant and his mother's son in every way. They were good children. Good adults. Leora was proud of them every day. One evening, Hana came home with news. "I met someone," she announced at dinner. Minho's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. "Someone? A man. His name is David. He is American. I have been dating him for 6 months." "6 months?" Leora asked. "And you are just telling us now?" "I wanted to make sure it was serious first." "And is it?" Minho asked carefully. "It is." Hana took a breath. "He wants to meet you." Minho put down his fork. "Tell me about him." Hana talked for an hour. About how they met. What he did. Where he came from. What she loved about him. Minho listened without interrupting. His expression was unreadable. When Hana finished, there was a long silence. "Bring him to dinner," Minho said finally. "Next weekend." "Really? Really?" Min-ho looked at his daughter. If he is important to you, I want to meet him. Hana hugged her father. Tight. Thank you, she whispered. Do not thank me yet. I have not decided if I like him. You will love him. We will see. David came to dinner the following Saturday. He was tall and broad-shouldered with kind eyes and a nervous smile. He shook Min-ho's hand firmly, complimented Liara's cooking, asked Jun-ho about his research. He was polite, respectful, clearly terrified of Min-ho. Good, Min-ho thought. He should be terrified. After dinner, Min-ho invited David to the garden. Walk with me, he said. David looked at Hana. She nodded encouragingly. They walked in silence for a few minutes, past the vegetables, past the chicken coop, to the bench at the far end of the property. Sit, Min-ho said. They sat. You know who I am, Min-ho said. It was not a question. I know what the internet says, David replied carefully. I know what Hana has told me. I know your past was complicated. Complicated. Min-ho smiled slightly. That is one word for it. Hana also told me that you changed, that you gave up that life for her mother, that you have spent 20 years being a good man. I have tried. She loves you. David looked at him directly. And she loves me. I want to make her happy for the rest of her life. That is a big promise. I know, but I mean it. Min-ho studied him for a long moment. If you hurt her, he said quietly, I will destroy you. I understand. I do not think you do. Min-ho's voice was calm, but his eyes were hard. I am not speaking metaphorically. I am not making threats. I am stating facts. If you hurt my daughter, there is nowhere you can hide that I will not find you. David did not flinch. I will never hurt her, he said. I love her. They stared at each other. Then Min-ho nodded. Good. He stood up. Welcome to the family. David's shoulders sagged with relief. Thank you, sir. Do not call me sir. It makes me feel old. What should I call you? Minyo. Eventually, maybe Dad. We will see. They walked back to the house together. Hana was waiting on the porch. Well, she asked. I like him, Min-ho said. Really? Really? He looked at David, but I meant what I said. Hana threw her arms around her father. Thank you, she whispered. Do not thank me. Thank your mother. She is the one who taught me how to give people a chance. David proposed 6 months later. They got married the following spring. It was a beautiful ceremony, outdoors, at the beach house, with the ocean as a backdrop and the sunset painting the sky gold and pink. Hana wore white, simple and elegant, just like her mother had. David wore a dark suit, looked terrified and happy and completely in love. Min-ho walked his daughter down the aisle. He did not cry, not Kita, but his eyes were wet when he placed her hand in David's. Take care of her, he said. Always, David promised. The reception was perfect. Good food, good music, good company. Min-ho danced with his daughter, held her close. I am proud of you, he said. Dad, I mean it. You have grown into an extraordinary woman. Your mother and I could not be prouder. Hana's eyes filled with tears. I love you, she said. I love you more. Not possible. Always true. They danced until the song ended. Then Min-ho passed her back to her husband. He found Leora at their table, watching with tears streaming down her face. Our baby is married, she said. She will always be our baby. They held hands. Watch their daughter dance with her new husband. We did good, Liara said. We did. They stayed at the beach house for a week after the wedding, just the two of them, walking on the beach, cooking together, remembering. Do you ever think about the beginning? Liara asked one evening. What part? All of it. The wine, the humiliation, you nearly killing Thabo. Min-ho laughed. I did not nearly kill him. I just made my point. Your point involved choking him against a wall. He had it coming. Leora smiled. She leaned against him. I am glad you were there that night. I am glad I found you. You did not find me. You caught me. Same thing. Not the same thing at all. They watched the sunset together. If you had not been there, Leora said quietly, I do not know what would have happened to me. You would have been fine, maybe. But I would not have been happy. Not like this. Minho pulled her closer. I would walk through fire for you, he said. I would burn down worlds. I would do anything. I know. Leora kissed him softly. You already have. Hold on. I need to stop right here. This moment is so powerful. 20+ years of love. A daughter married. A family built. If you are not emotional right now, check your pulse. Like, comment, subscribe. Share this with everyone who needs to feel something today. Because there is more coming. So much more. 2 years after Hana's wedding, she announced she was pregnant. Leora cried for an hour. I am going to be a grandmother, she kept saying. You are going to be the best grandmother, Minho told her. What if I am not good at it? You are good at everything. That is not true. It is true. You are an excellent wife, an excellent mother, an excellent baker. You will be an excellent grandmother. Leora wiped her eyes. What about you? What about me? Are you ready to be a grandfather? Minho thought about it. I never imagined I would live this long, he admitted. When I was young, I thought I would die before I was 40. The life I lived was not made for longevity. But you are still here. I am still here. Minho looked at her. Because of you. Me. You gave me something to live for. A reason to change. A future worth surviving for. Leora took his hand. You saved yourself, she said. I just gave you a reason. Same thing. She laughed, kissed him. We are going to be grandparents, she said. We are. Terrifying. Exciting. Both. The baby arrived on a rainy Tuesday in October. A girl. 8 pounds, healthy and loud. They named her Sumin, after Minho's mother. He cried when he held her for the first time. She is so small, he whispered. Babies usually are. I am afraid I will break her. You will not. Just support her head. He held his granddaughter with hands that had once done terrible things. Hands that had built empires and destroyed enemies and pulled triggers. Now they held something precious, something innocent. Hello, little one, he said softly. I am your grandfather, and I am going to protect you with my life. Sumin opened her eyes, looked at him, and in that moment, Minho fell in love all over again. Grandchildren changed everything. Leora and Minho visited constantly, babysat whenever they could, spoiled Sumin with toys and treats and attention. You are going to ruin her, Hana complained. That is our job, Leora replied. Grandparents exist to spoil. She will expect everything handed to her. Then she will learn to work for what she wants, just like you did. Hana could not argue with that. Junho became an uncle, took his role seriously. Read to Sumin constantly, taught her words before she could walk. He was still quiet, still brilliant, still alone. Leora worried about him sometimes. You need to find someone, she told him one evening. I will, when I am ready. When will that be? I do not know. Junho looked at her. I want what you and Dad have. I will not settle for less. Liara's heart swelled. You will find it, she said. I promise. How do you know? Because you are your father's son, and he found me. Junho did find someone, eventually. Her name was Mei Ling. She was a physicist from Beijing, brilliant and quiet and perfect for him. They met at a conference, talked for hours, started dating long distance, finally moved in together after 2 years. Minho approved immediately. She is smart, he told Leora, and she challenges him. That is what he needs. He needs someone who loves him. She does. I can see it. They got married the following year. A small ceremony. Just family and close friends. Junho cried during his vows. Mei Ling cried during hers. It was beautiful. 2 more grandchildren followed, a boy and a girl. Minho and Liara's family grew. The house that had once been too quiet was now full of noise. Children running, laughter echoing, life happening in every corner. "This is what I always wanted," Liara said one Christmas. The whole family was there. 3 generations under one roof. What did you want? This, all of this. The chows, the noise, the love, you have it. I know. Liara's eyes were bright. Because of you. They celebrated everything. Birthdays, anniversaries, first steps and first words and first days of school. Every milestone was marked. Every moment was cherished, because they knew how fragile life was, how quickly it could change. They had learned that lesson the hard way. On their 30th wedding anniversary, the family threw them another party. Bigger than the 20th. More grandchildren. More friends. More stories to tell. Liara wore silver this time. A dress that hugged her curves and made her feel beautiful despite the years. Minho wore black, as always. Distinguished and dangerous and completely in love with his wife. They danced to the same song they had danced to at their wedding. 30 years, Liara said. 30 years. We made it. We made it. Are you happy? Minho pulled her closer. I am beyond happy, he said. I have you, our children, our grandchildren. Everything I never thought I deserved. You deserve all of it. So do you. They swayed together, lost in the moment, lost in each other. The party continued around them, but they were in their own world. I love you, Liara whispered. I love you more. Still not possible. Still always true. Years passed. Time moved differently now. Faster. More precious. Liara retired fully from the bakery. Passed it on to Kafilwi and the next generation. Minho sold most of his businesses. Kept only what mattered. They traveled more. Saw places they had always dreamed of. Made memories that would last forever. And then, one quiet afternoon, everything changed. Liara was in the garden when it happened. She was picking tomatoes, humming to herself. Happy, she did not feel it coming. One moment she was reaching for a ripe tomato. The next moment she was on the ground, the sky spinning above her. She tried to call for Minho, but her voice would not work. The world went dark. Minho found her 20 minutes later. He screamed, dropped to his knees beside her. Called for help. The ambulance came, took her away. He rode with her, held her hand, prayed to every god he had ever heard of. Please, not yet. We were supposed to have more time. The doctors said it was a stroke, massive, sudden, the kind that changes everything. Liara survived, but she was different. Half her body would not work the way it used to. Her speech was slurred. Her memory had gaps. She was still Liara, still the woman Minho loved, but she was wounded, broken in ways that might not heal. I need you to stop here and take a breath. This is heavy, I know, but this is life, real life, with all its pain and its beauty. If you are still watching, you are truly invested in this story. Like, comment, subscribe, share, because the end is coming, and it is going to break your heart and heal it all at once. Minho became her caregiver. He learned to do everything, helped her dress, helped her eat, helped her walk with her cane. Some days were good. She laughed, told jokes, reminded him why he loved her. Some days were bad. She cried, forgot things, looked at him like she did not know who he was. Both kinds of days were precious. Their children offered to help, offered to hire nurses, offered to take over. Minho refused. She is my wife, he said. I will take care of her. Dad, you cannot do everything alone. I am not alone. I have her. He slept beside her every night, held her hand, whispered I love you even when she could not say it back. This was the life they had, the life they had built. He would not give up a single moment of it. The months turned into years. Liara improved slowly, regained some of her strength, some of her speech. She was never quite the same, but she was still herself, and she still loved him, fiercely. You could have left, she said one night. Her voice was still slurred. Her hand still trembled. What, after the stroke? You could have put me in a home, found someone else. You did not have to stay. Min-ho looked at her like she had lost her mind. Leave you? He shook his head. I would never leave you. Not for anything. Why? Because I love you. Because you are my wife. Because 30 years ago, I promised to be with you through everything. This is everything. This is what we signed up for. Leora's eyes filled with tears. I am broken, she whispered. You are beautiful. I am old. You are perfect. I cannot even walk properly. Then I will carry you. He pulled her close, held her against his chest. You are my heart, he said, my home, my everything. I do not care if you cannot walk. I do not care if you cannot speak. I care that you are here, that you are alive, that I get to spend whatever time we have left with you. Leora cried, held on to him. I love you, she managed. I love you more, still not possible, still always true. They celebrated their 40th anniversary quietly, just the two of them, at the beach house, watching the sunset. 40 years, Leora said. Her voice was stronger now. The speech therapy had helped. 40 years. We really made it. We really made it. She leaned against him, tired but happy. Thank you, she said. For what? For everything. For saving me that night. For loving me all these years. For staying when it would have been easier to leave. It would never have been easier to leave. Min-ho kissed her forehead. You are my life. Without you, there is nothing. They sat together as the sun went down. Two people who had found each other against all odds. Who had survived danger and scandal and illness and time. Who had built a life worth living. I am ready, Leora said quietly. Ready for what? Whatever comes next. Leora looked at him. I have had a good life, a beautiful life. With you, with our children, with our grandchildren. If it ended tomorrow, I would have no regrets. It is not ending tomorrow. I know. But when it does end, I want you to know that I am grateful. For all of it. Min-ho's throat was tight. I am grateful too, he managed. They held hands, watched the stars come out, and they were at peace. Leora passed away 3 years later, quietly, in her sleep, with Min-ho beside her. He woke up and knew immediately. He held her hand, still warm, told her he loved her one more time. Then he cried, for hours. Their children came, their grandchildren came. Everyone who loved her gathered to say goodbye. The funeral was beautiful, flowers everywhere. Music that Leora had loved, stories from everyone who had known her. Min-ho gave the eulogy. Leora was the love of my life, he said. His voice was steady even though his heart was shattered. From the moment I saw her, I knew she was special. I spent 43 years trying to be worthy of her. He paused, gathered himself. She taught me how to love, how to change, how to be better. She gave me a family I never thought I would have, a life I never thought I deserved. His voice broke. I will miss her every day for the rest of my life, but I will also carry her with me, in my heart, in my memories, in everything I do. He looked at the casket. Goodbye, my love. Wait for me. I will be there soon. They buried her next to the beach house, in the garden she had loved. Min-ho visited every day, talked to her, told her about the children and grandchildren, about the garden, about how much he missed her. Some days he cried, some days he laughed, but he never stopped loving her. 2 years after Leora died, Min-ho's health began to decline. He did not fight it, did not seek treatment, did not try to extend his time. He was ready. His children gathered around him at the end, his grandchildren too. Tell me stories, he said, about your mother, about your grandmother. They talked for hours, about Leora, about the life they had built together. She was the best thing that ever happened to me, Min-ho said. His voice was weak. His eyes were closing. We know, Hana said. She was crying. We all know. Take care of each other, Minho whispered. That is what she would want. We will. I love you, all of you. We love you too. Minho closed his eyes. He thought about Leora, about the first time he saw her, about 43 years of love and life and everything in between. He smiled, and then he was gone. They buried him next to Leora. In the garden they had both loved. The headstone read, Kang Min-ho, 1982-2057, beloved husband, father, grandfather. He found love and never let go. Below it, Leora Kang, 1984-2054, beloved wife, mother, grandmother. She taught him how to live. Their children visited often. Their grandchildren, too. They told stories about their grandparents, about the love that had survived everything, and they carried that love forward into their own lives, their own families, because that is what Minho and Leora had taught them. Love survives. Love endure. Love is everything. The beach house stayed in the family. Every summer, the grandchildren brought their own children there, told them stories about the couple who had built it, about the man who saved a woman covered in wine, about the woman who saved him right back, about 43 years of love that had changed everything. The story passed down through generations. A love story, a survival story, a story about choosing each other every single day. And they all lived, really lived, because Minho and Leora had shown them how. I told you it would break your heart and heal it. If you have made it this far, you are truly part of this journey, the complete resolution. Everything tied together. Subscribe if you have not. Like, comment, share, and get ready for the next one, the ending you deserve. 50 years after Minho and Leora were buried side by side, their great-granddaughter stood at their graves. Her name was Leora, named after the woman who had started it all. She was 23 years old, curvy and beautiful with warm brown skin and dark eyes that looked exactly like her great-grandfather's. She had never met them, not really. She had been 3 when her great-grandmother died, 4 when her great-grandfather followed. But she knew their story. Everyone in the family knew their story. Tell me again, she used to say to her grandmother Hana. Tell me about how they met. And Hana would smile, would settle into her chair, would begin. It started with wine, Hana would say, and it ended with forever. Young Leora grew up on those stories. She heard about the wedding, about the humiliation, about the man in the black suit who crossed a ballroom to save a stranger. She heard about the danger, about Hana, about the war that almost destroyed everything. She heard about the love, the real love, the kind that survived everything, and she dreamed of finding something like that for herself. Standing at their graves now, she felt the weight of their legacy. Hi, she said softly. It is me, Leora, your namesake. The wind stirred the leaves in the trees above. I am getting married tomorrow, she continued, to someone I love very much. Someone who reminds me of the stories Grandma tells about you. She touched the headstone, traced the letters of her great-grandmother's name. I hope I can have what you had. I hope I can love someone for 43 years. I hope I can build something that lasts. She wiped her eyes. Thank you for showing us how. Thank you for the example you set. Thank you for loving each other so completely that we all learned what love is supposed to look like. She placed flowers on both graves, white roses, her great-grandmother's favorite. I will come back after the wedding, she promised. I will bring pictures. I will tell you everything. She stood there for a few more minutes, feeling connected to people she barely remembered but knew by heart. Then she walked back to the beach house where her family was waiting. The wedding was held at the beach house, just like Hana's wedding had been, just like Junho's wedding had been. It was tradition now. Every wedding in the family happened here, at the place Minho and Leora had loved most. Young Leora wore white, a simple dress that hugged her curves and made her feel beautiful. Her groom's name was James. He was tall and kind, with gentle eyes and a laugh that made her heart race. They had met at a coffee shop 3 years ago. He had spilled his drink on her, apologized profusely, asked if he could buy her a replacement. She had said yes, and everything had changed. The ceremony was beautiful. Hana officiated. She was 92 years old now, still sharp, still fierce, still her father's daughter. "We are gathered here," Hana said, "to celebrate love. Not just the love between these two young people, but the love that runs through our family like a river. The love that started with my parents and has flowed down through every generation." She looked at the couple. "My father once told me that love is not something you find. It is something you build, brick by brick, day by day, through the good times and the bad, through the joy and the pain. You build it with patience and kindness and forgiveness." Her voice wavered slightly. "My parents built something extraordinary. They showed all of us what love can be when you commit to it fully, when you choose each other every single day." She smiled at young Leora. "And now it is your turn to build, your turn to love, your turn to create something that will last." The vows were personal. James spoke first. "Leora," he said, "when I met you, I was lost. I did not know who I was or what I wanted, but you saw something in me, something worth believing in. You gave me a chance when I did not deserve one. You loved me when I did not know how to love myself." His voice cracked. "I promise to spend the rest of my life being worthy of that love. I promise to stand beside you through everything. I promise to choose you every single day for the rest of our lives." Young Leora spoke next. "James," she said, "I grew up hearing stories about my great-grandparents, about a love so powerful it survived danger and scandal and illness and time. I always wondered if I would find something like that." She smiled through her tears. "And then I found you, not in a dramatic rescue, not in a ballroom or a moment of danger, just in a coffee shop, on a random Tuesday. You spilled coffee on me and apologized like it was the worst thing that had ever happened." The guests laughed. "But that is the thing about love. It does not always come with fireworks. Sometimes it comes quietly. Sometimes it sneaks up on you. Sometimes it starts with spilled coffee and grows into something extraordinary." She took his hands. "I promise to love you like my great-grandparents loved each other, completely, fiercely, through everything. I promise to choose you every single day, no matter what." Hana pronounced them husband and wife. They kissed while the ocean roared behind them and the sunset painted the sky gold. And somewhere, Leora liked to believe, her great-grandparents were watching, smiling, proud. The reception was perfect. Good food, good music, good company. 3 generations of family were there, all connected by the love that Minho and Liara had started. Hana gave a speech. "I want to tell you a story," she said, "about my parents." The room went quiet. When my mother was 53 years old, she had a heart attack. The doctors said she might not survive. My father stayed by her side for 6 hours while they operated, did not eat, did not sleep, just prayed. She paused. When she woke up, the first thing she said was, "I told you I was not going anywhere." And my father laughed and cried and said, "You are the most stubborn woman I have ever met." And she said, "That is why you love me." And he said, "That is one of a million reasons." The guests were crying now. "That is what love looks like," Hana continued. "Not just the good days, not just the romance, but the hospital rooms and the fear and the choosing to stay anyway." She looked at young Liara and James. "You are starting your journey today. There will be good days and bad days. There will be joy and pain. There will be moments when you want to give up." Her voice was firm. "Do not give up. Choose each other every single day. Build something that lasts. That is the legacy my parents left us. That is what I am passing on to you." She raised her glass. "To Lai, Ra, and James, may your love be as strong and as lasting as the love that started this family." The room echoed, to Leora and James. And somewhere in the corner, young Leora could swear she felt a warm presence, a feeling of being loved and protected and blessed. She looked at the empty chairs they had reserved for her great-grandparents, smiled, and began her own love story. If you have made it this far, you are truly part of this family now. This story started with a woman covered in wine and a man who chose to save her. It ends with generations of love flowing forward. If this touched your heart, I need you to do something. Like this video. Share it with everyone you know. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss another story. And leave a comment telling me your favorite moment. Because stories like this deserve to be celebrated. 20 years after young Leara's wedding, she sat in the same beach house telling her own children the family story. "Mom," her daughter Suyeon said, "tell us about great-great-grandma and great-great-grandpa again." Suyeon was 10 years old, curious and bright with her father's gentle eyes and her mother's determined spirit. "You have heard this story 1,000 times, Leora said with a smile. "Tell it again," her son Minjun demanded. He was 8, named after his great-great-grandfather. He had the same serious expression, the same quiet intensity. Okay, Leora settled into her chair. It started at a wedding, a terrible wedding where a terrible man did a terrible thing. What did he do? Suyeon asked, even though she already knew. He threw wine on a woman, in front of everyone, humiliated her, said cruel things about her body and her worth. That was great-great-grandma Leora. Yes, that was my namesake, our namesake. And then what happened? And then a man appeared, a stranger in a black suit. He crossed the entire ballroom and grabbed the cruel man by the throat. Minjun's eyes widened. He always loved this part. He said, "Get away from her." And everyone was scared because they could tell he meant it. They could tell he was dangerous. But he was not dangerous to great-great-grandma. No, Leora smiled. He was never dangerous to her. He was dangerous for her. He protected her, saved her, fell in love with her, and they got married, eventually, after a lot of adventures. "Tell us about the adventures." So Leora told them, about Hana and the war, about the trial, about building a life together against all odds. She told them about the children, Hana and Junho, about grandchildren and great-grandchildren. She told them about the beach house, about the garden, about the chickens that Minho pretended to hate. And she told them about the love, the real love, the kind that survived everything. They loved each other for 43 years. Leora finished. Through good times and bad, through danger and peace, through sickness and health. They chose each other every single day. And then they died, Suyeon said quietly. Yes, Leora's voice was soft. They died. First great-great-grandma, then great-great-grandpa 2 years later. But their love did not die. It lived on, in their children, in their grandchildren, in us. That is why I am named after her, Suyeon said. Yes, and that is why your brother is named after him. Minjun straightened with pride. You carry their names, Leora continued, and you carry their legacy, the lesson they taught us, that love is the most powerful thing in the world, that it can survive anything if you are willing to fight for it. I want to find love like that, Suyeon said. You will. How do you know? Because you come from a family that knows how to love. Leora pulled her daughter close. And because I will teach you, just like my grandmother taught me, just like her parents taught her. They sat together as the sun went down. 3 generations of the family that Minho and Leora had built, connected by love, protected by legacy, ready for whatever came next. The beach house became a museum of sorts, not an official museum, but a family museum, a place where stories were kept and memories were preserved. Every room held history, the kitchen where Leora had cooked her last meal, the bedroom where Minho had held her hand while she slept, the garden where they were both buried. Family members visited regularly, left flowers, told stories, kept the connection alive, and the stories spread beyond the family. Journalists wrote about them. The crime boss who gave up everything for love. The caterer who survived public humiliation and built an empire. Books were written. Documentaries were made. Their story became legend, but the family knew the truth. The truth was simpler than the legend. Two people met at the worst moment of one person's life. One chose to help, the other chose to trust. And from that simple beginning, everything grew. That was the real story. Not the drama, not the danger, not the scandal. Just love. Choosing each other. Every single day. 100 years after Minho and Leora first met, their great-great-great-granddaughter was born. They named her Leora, the fifth Leora in the family line. She was born at the beach house, in the same room where generations of children had taken their first breaths. Her mother held her close, whispered the family blessing that had been passed down for generations. "You come from love," she said. "You are made of love, and you will spread love wherever you go." Outside the window, the garden bloomed. The headstones stood side by side. Minho and Liara, still together after all this time. The baby opened her eyes, dark, serious, just like her ancestor. And somewhere, perhaps, two souls smiled. Their legacy continued. Their love lived on, and that was exactly as it should be. The story could end here. But stories like this never really end. They echo, they ripple. They spread out through time and touch lives that were not even imagined when they began. Minho and Liara's story touched everyone who heard it. The young woman who stayed in a difficult relationship and finally found the courage to leave. She thought of Leora, of surviving humiliation, of rebuilding from nothing. The young man who wanted to change but did not know how. He thought of Minho, of choosing love over power, of becoming someone worthy. The couple who had been married for decades and had forgotten why they started. They thought of 43 years, of choosing each other every day, of building something that lasted. Stories have power. This story had more power than most, because it was true, because it showed that love could survive anything, because it proved that people could change, could grow, could become better than they were. Minho started as a crime boss, a dangerous man with blood on his hands. He ended as a husband, a father, a grandfather, a man who had spent decades proving that he was more than his past. Liara started as a broken woman, humiliated, alone, convinced she was not worthy of love. She ended as a matriarch, a businesswoman, a legend, a woman who had built an empire from nothing and loved fiercely until her last breath. They did not start as heroes. They became heroes, to each other, to their family, to everyone who heard their story and found hope in it. That is the real ending, not death, not graves, but the love that continued, the hope that spread, the lives that were changed because two people chose each other at the worst possible moment and kept choosing every single day for 43 years and beyond. We are at the end now, the real end. And I have to ask you something. Did this story change something in you? Did it make you believe in love a little more? Did it give you hope? If it did, I need you to share that, like this video. Subscribe to this channel. Leave a comment telling me how you feel, because stories like this deserve to be spread. They deserve to reach everyone who needs to hear them. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring. And thank you for being part of this journey. Now let me tell you what happened to everyone. Hana lived to be 97 years old. She died peacefully, surrounded by her children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. She was buried at the beach house, next to her parents. Her headstone read, Hana Kang, beloved daughter, wife, mother, grandmother. She carried her parents' love into the future. Junho lived to be 95. He and Mei Ling had 52 years together before she passed. He followed her 3 months later. He was buried next to his sister, next to his parents. His headstone read, Junho Kang, beloved son, husband, father, grandfather. He was quiet. He was brilliant. He was deeply loved. David and Hannah had 3 children together. All of them grew up to be kind, strong, good. All of them passed the family stories down to their own children. All of them were buried at the beach house when their time came. Mei Ling and Junho had 2 children, both brilliant, both quiet, both exactly what their parents had hoped for, both buried at the beach house. The garden grew, more headstones, more names, more love preserved in stone, but it never felt sad. It felt like home, because that is what the beach house was, home, for everyone who carried Minho and Liara's blood, for everyone who carried their love. Kafilwi lived to be 89. She never forgot her best friend, visited Leora's grave every year on her birthday. She was not buried at the beach house. She had her own family, her own legacy, but she was remembered there. A plaque on the wall of the beach house read, "In honor of Kafilwi Makona, friend, partner, sister of the heart." She stood beside Liara through everything. Jin lived to be 93. He retired from security work after Minho died, spent his final years traveling, seeing the world he had protected others from. He was remembered too. Another plaque, in honor of Jin Park. Protector, friend, family. He kept them safe when no one else could. Hannah died in prison, alone, bitter, forgotten. No one mourned her. But her mother came to the beach house once. After A's funeral, she stood at the grave, wept. "I am sorry," she said, "for what my daughter did, for the pain she caused." No one blamed her. She was not her daughter. She died a few years later, peacefully, at home. Her last words were, "I hope they forgive her. Wherever they are, I hope they found peace." Maybe they did. Maybe forgiveness was part of their legacy too. Thabo was never forgotten, not forgiven, but not forgotten. His death had been senseless, cruel, a casualty of Hannah's war, but it had also been a catalyst. Without it, Minho might never have testified. Without it, Hannah might never have been stopped. Without it, the future might have been different, dark, dangerous, without peace. So even Thabo's death had meaning. Even his tragedy had purpose. The family never celebrated it, but they acknowledged it. A complicated part of a complicated story. And now we come to the very end, the final scene, the moment where everything comes together. It is 150 years after Minho and Leora first met. The world is different now. Technology has changed. Society has changed. Everything is different. But the beach house still stands, preserved, protected, a monument to the love that started there. A young woman walks through the garden. She does not know the full story. Not yet. She is a tourist, a visitor. Someone who heard about this place and wanted to see it for herself. She stops at the graves, reads the headstones. Kang Minho, Leora Kang. She does not know who they were, not really, but she feels something, a warmth, a presence, a sense of being welcomed. She sits on the bench nearby, looks out at the ocean, and she thinks about love, about what it means to find someone who changes everything, about what it means to choose someone every single day, about what it means to build something that lasts. She does not know the answers. But sitting here, in this place where love lived and grew and endured, she feels like the answers might be possible. She might find them, someday, with the right person. She stands up, takes one last look at the graves. "Thank you," she whispers. She does not know why she says it, but it feels right. She walks away, back to her life, her future, her own story waiting to be written. And behind her, the garden blooms, the headstones stand, the love remains, forever. This is the end of the story, but not the end of the love. Love like this does not end. It echoes through time, touches lives, changes futures. Minho and Leora started with a moment of courage, a man choosing to help, a woman choosing to trust. From that moment, everything grew. 43 years of marriage, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, a legacy that lasted 150 years and counting. That is what love can do. That is what choosing each other every day can build. Something eternal, something beautiful, something worth fighting for. So here is my question for you. What are you going to build? What love story are you going to write with your life? Because every great love story starts with a choice, a moment of courage, a decision to show up for someone else. Minho made that choice. Liara made that choice. And look what they built. You can build something too. Something extraordinary. Something that lasts. All you have to do is choose. Every single day. This is the end of Black Soul Romance TV series. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being part of this journey. If this story touched your heart, I need you to do 4 things. First, like this video. Let me know this story mattered to you. Second, subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell, because there are more stories coming. More love, more Cdrama, more everything you came here for. Third, share this video. Send it to your best friend. Post it on social media. Tell everyone you know, because stories like this deserve to reach everyone who needs to hear them. Fourth, leave a comment. Tell me your favorite moment. Tell me what you felt. Tell me if you believe in love a little more now than you did before. I read every single comment. I care about every single one of you. You are not just viewers. You are family, and I am so grateful you are here. Until next time, remember, love is not something you find. It is something you build, brick by brick, day by day, choice by choice. Build something beautiful. Build something that lasts. Build something worthy of the love you deserve. Goodbye for now, but not forever. Because love stories never really end. They just keep growing, keep spreading, keep changing lives. Just like Minho and Liara's story changed all of ours. See you in the next one. This story was written for Black Soul Romance TV series. Please like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thank you for being part of this journey.